This is the home of the NBA Finals. ABC Sports Championship Television.
The plan was unlike any other before. Take two cornerstones, frame them with two gems, each needing a diamond ring for his career to be complete. Then shape the collection with a man who has more rings than fingers. The result, a season of highs and lows. Yet despite the pain and the problems, they are here, now, just 4 wins from completing their mission. But there are Wallaces in their way. Detroit brings defense. A legendary coach and a new crew have brought the Pistons back to the early days, when bad was good. They've been on the final stage together before. So what do you say we dust off the script? Cast today's stars in yesterday's roles and do it again. Who says sequels can't win the gold trophy in Hollywood? It's Game 1 of the NBA Finals on ABC. Beautiful night, the first Sunday in June, downtown Los Angeles, California, and the Staples Center opened 5 years ago, and it's the 4th season the Staples Center hosts the NBA Finals. Will he be the MVP of the Finals for the 4th time? Shaquille O'Neal, Rasheed Wallace, a quest for a first title, like Karl Malone, who's toiled for nearly 2 decades. Richard Hamilton of Detroit, the emerging star, trying to get a ring here. We welcome you inside Staples Center to Chevrolet NBA Hang Time before Game 1 of the 2004 NBA Finals. Good evening, everyone. Mike Tirico, Byron Scott, the coach of the New Orleans Hornets now, and my colleague Tom Tolbert. Our privilege to be with you before every Finals game here on ABC. Guys, great to be in LA for the Finals.
It is awesome to be here. I just want to let you know, I apologize because I'm in violation of an agreement I made with Commissioner Stern. He asked me to stay as far away from the Larry O'Brien Trophy as possible, and I'm within the 2-foot radius I promised to stay outside of. So what could I do? I didn't know I'd be sitting here.
Well, you know what? I knew I would be sitting here because this is my 3rd straight final, and I'm really happy to be here. You know, I've been there so many times, and here I am again. It's just getting to be an old habit for me right now, Mike, you know?
3 in a row. You won't lose this one as the coach as you did the last 2 with the Nets.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
Are you out? But you did win 3 as a player, of course, with the LA Lakers. Now, I want to come back to Byron because your Nets lost to LA in 2002, and that was a Nets team that did not have a ton of experience coming into the NBA Finals. What did you see in the faces of those Nets players before Game 1 that we should be watching with the Detroit Pistons at the start of the game tonight?
Well, I think with us, it was just happy to be here, and I think Detroit is going to go through the same similar situation because they got a bunch of guys who've never been in the World Championship Series. So right now, they're just pleased to be here until that game tips off. They don't really know what to expect, and it might catch them, you know, it might catch them off guard a little bit. And hopefully, if they're prepared, like I know they are with Larry Brown, they'll be a little bit better than what we were, and they won't be so surprised about all the stuff that's going to be going on.
Yeah, and kind of in the same vein with that thought process is Detroit, if they lose, they've already been to an Eastern Conference Finals. They've taken that next step. And if they lose, you know what? They were supposed to lose. It was still a good season for the Pistons. In contrast, for the Los Angeles Lakers, this team is built every single year to win a championship. If they lose, whether it's a good series or not, this season will have been a disaster.
So many storylines. Think the reprise of the old Lakers-Pistons days in '88 when the Lakers won in 7 with you, in '89 when the Pistons swept and ended the Showtime era. The Showtime Lakers didn't win 4 titles in 5 years. These Lakers can if they win. You said, Tom, they were supposed to get here, and they have. But as we bring in Al Michaels and Doc Rivers, who are going to call the game, Al, what an extraordinary journey for the Lakers to get here, finally, to the Finals.
It's been unbelievable. We'll detail it, of course, Mike, but I'm sitting here in June. I'm thinking of Reggie Jackson as Mr. October. Shaquille O'Neal has been Mr. June. He's won 3 titles. He's won 3 MVP awards in the Finals. He's never scored less than 25 points. Doc, in 19 Finals games, he's averaged 34 points in the Finals. He's your problem next year because Doc will coach the Boston Celtics. He's Larry Brown's problem over the next week or 2. So what will Detroit do to defend Shaq?
Well, they're going to try to do a lot of things. Number one, they have a lot of fouls that they can give, and they know that going in. Detroit's one of the few teams that has 24 fouls that they can give, and they probably have more if they need it. When you look at the different guys on their team, Shaq weighs 340, but they have Rasheed Wallace Wallace, Ben Wallace, Mimic Okur, and Eldon Campbell. I think they're going to give him different looks. I think they're going to front him. They're going to be behind him, and they're going to follow him whenever he gets close. The bottom line, they know they can't stop him. They just don't want him to dominate the series.
Good guy to foul. He's averaging only 41% from the line in postseason. In 2 more months, we'll be in Canton, Ohio, Mike. And Hank Williams will be back with us. Right now, I'm thinking of Hank. We are ready for some basketball. Let's go.
And we look forward to you guys calling the game. We'll be at you at the top of the hour when tip time comes. Now, matching up against Shaquille O'Neal, one huge problem. The second involves Kobe Bryant. And I think it's the great storyline coming into these finals. Kobe Bryant against Detroit's emerging star, Richard Hamilton. These guys have known each other for a decade. They battled in the high school playoffs in Pennsylvania and suburban Philadelphia, and now they'll do it on the great stage, the NBA Finals. I thought Richard Hamilton heard something interesting this week when Kobe Bryant said, I want to guard Richard Hamilton, who's been the playoff stud for Detroit. As a coach, would you love to hear your star players say that?
I would love to hear my star players say that, especially a star like Kobe Bryant, who accepts any type of challenge. He knows guarding Rip Hamilton is going to be a big-time challenge because of Rip's movement. He moves better off the ball than anybody in this league. And when he's moving the way he's moving, baseline to baseline, he's catching that ball, and he's a catch-and-shoot type guy. If you give him any type of space, it's going up, and 9 times out of 10 with the way he shoots it, it's going in. So Rip is a different type of problem than most of the guys you have to guard in this league because of the way that he moves. He's a fantastic mover off the ball, and Kobe knows that, and he knows he's going to have his hands full.
Richard Hamilton, part of the 1999 Connecticut College Championship, played for Michael Jordan in Washington, was traded for Jerry Stackhouse, and has emerged as a star. But Kobe Bryant, slowing him down offensively is not Hamilton's challenge per se. It may be everybody in a Detroit uniform.
They're going to try Tayshaun Prince on him. They're going to try Rip Hamilton on him. But when it comes right down to it, this guy is one of the greatest players in the game right now. And one of the reasons he is because he's great defensively, but offensively, he has the entire package. He has a mid-range game. I mean, that's a sick move right there. And to be able to, I mean, I'd need Dramamine after a shot like that. That's ridiculous. And then his ability to go to the hole. And now he's even extended out to being able to a pretty consistent three-point shooter. The best you can hope for with Kobe is to force him to take outside shots, miss him, and maybe get a little bit passive. Because when he gets aggressive, he's going to beat the guy that's guarding him. You got to have quick rotations and hope other guys don't beat you.
And sure, the stories that are nice are Gary Payton and Karl Malone of the Lakers trying to get a ring. But these two stories, defending Shaquille O'Neal, defending Kobe Bryant, those are the two keys if LA will win a 4th title in 5 years. Ben Wallace mentioned his importance defensively. He's getting ready in the locker room here at Staples Center. A little ice to get set for Game 1 of the finals as we move closer to tip-off. Boom.
1, 2, 3, go!
As we move closer to tip and an old rivalry is renewed on the NBA's biggest stage, we'll check in with this game's biggest star. Shaq pulls no punches in an exclusive interview.
I like to be the baddest shut your mouth around.
Plus, comedian Bernie Mac has some choice words for a future Hall of Famer.
Malone a dirty player. You dirty. Let me tell you something, Malone.
All on the way to Game 1 of the 2004 Finals, Pistons and Lakers from LA on Chevrolet NBA Hang Time.
Chevrolet NBA Hang Time on ABC Sports, brought to you by the new Chevrolets, 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American Revolution, and American Express, the official card of high flyers.
Of course, the finals at Staples Center means many celebrities. Sylvester Stallone, an early arrival. You'll see plenty of them throughout our coverage of the finals. Tip time just after the top of the hour here on ABC. As big a star as any movie star in Hollywood is another movie star, Shaquille O'Neal. Boy, has he dominated the finals. Do you know in all 19 NBA Finals games that he has played, he scored at least 25 points, had at least 10 rebounds, shot over 50% from the field. And he's been the MVP of the Lakers' 3 recent championships. Shaq is now age 32. Yeah, he can't do it for 82 games a year, but he's still the most dominant force in the NBA. He sat down with our Jim Gray to talk about a lot of things, including his poor free throw shooting and if that will matter if games get tight.
How much does Hack a Shaq annoy you?
It doesn't annoy me at all because obviously it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. I don't shoot a great percentage, but I shoot them well enough to put my team in an advantage to win. Over my career, I'm 50%, so that's make one, miss one. But when it comes time for me to like really make them, I've been known to really make them.
You said that you want to win 7 championships.
For me.
Personally?
For me, yeah, for me. That's just my personal goal. I think if I left the game right now, I could see my name written in some books and be somewhat satisfied. But what you have to understand about me is I like to be the baddest motherfucker, shut your mouth, around. That's what I like to be. Ever since being a little kid. You got one, trophy from playing football, I'm gonna get 3.
Shaq, you have said, why break up a dynasty? If you win this championship, will you personally ask Phil Jackson and Kobe Bryant to stay?
I'm not in charge, so it's not my job. I'm not in charge. If I was running everything, it wouldn't be a question about what's going to happen down the line, but I'm not in charge.
But you have some influence.
I'm not in charge. Don't matter if I got influence or not, I'm not in charge. Doesn't matter if you have influence. If you don't get the last say-so, it doesn't matter. Like if I was the president and you was congressman, don't matter what you say, I get the last vote.
He does his job, I do my job. That's how you've described your relationship with Kobe Bryant. What exactly right now is your relationship with Kobe?
Our relationship has been the same all 8 years. And what people don't understand about us athletes, we live many different lives. Of course, when you come to work with somebody, you have to like them and respect them, but when we go home, we're 2 different people. And it doesn't matter if you think I like him or if you think he likes me, and I know he respects me and he knows I respect him. That's what it's all about.
How would you describe this season with everything that's going on?
It's been a fun, it's been a fruitful, it's been an enigmatic season. If you don't know what that word means, Jim, you should look it up.
Can you spell that for me, please?
Enigmatic. Enigmatic.
Vintage Shaq, always with a smile. I want to show you the McDonald's NBA Finals summary. It's talking about Laker big men on the big stage. And Shaquille O'Neal's points per game and rebounds off the charts. He said earlier this week he'd like to have 7 NBA titles to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who won 5 here with the Lakers and 1 with Milwaukee. The Detroit Pistons, who now take the floor here at the Staples Center for the first time in the finals in 15 years, their team defense was the best in the NBA. They tied with San Antonio, allowing the fewest points per game. Their team defense is going to be needed to stop Shaquille O'Neal. Expand a little bit what Al and Doc were talking about earlier.
Well, first of all, you saw those numbers. He won't have those numbers this series. I don't believe he can go 36-17, 36-15 in this series. What you want to do with Shaq, and it's tough, but I think it's doable, you get in his way. You meet him at the free throw line. You don't let him get in position to have one dribble, bucket, or catch the ball, bucket. You just can't do that. It's got to be a situation where he's 14 feet away from the bucket, 12 feet away from the bucket. If he catches it on the block or with 1 foot in the paint, forget about it. You might as well foul him and send him to the free throw line. But if you can make him put the ball on the ground once or twice, shoot the jump hook, shoot the turnaround jump shot, it's not as reliable as it used to be. And then you got a great weak side defender in Ben Wallace. I mean, that's one thing I've noticed about Shaq this year. He doesn't hit the 8 to 10 foot jump hook or jump shot like he used to 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, you know what? Tom was right, but Shaq cannot be stopped. He's the most dominant guy in this game. Only person that can stop Shaquille O'Neal is the Los Angeles Lakers. So they're going to go to him early and often, trying to get as many touches as possible. He's going to dominate this series, and I'm a firm believer that he can average 35 and 17. I saw it for a whole 4 games. Believe me, I saw it up close and personal.
Well, there is Shaq live as he and the rest of the Los Angeles Lakers take the floor. You know it's the finals because the fans are here early at Staples Center to get ready. Well, all season here on Hang Time, we have had the opportunity to turn the show over for a minute to a celebrity. Tell us why they love the NBA. We start at the finals with Bernie Mac, the actor-comedian who this September stars as a baseball Hall of Famer in the movie Mr. 3000, a basketball Hall of Famer among the topics in Bernie Mac's NBA Finals Minute.
Hey, this is the Mac Man. You got a minute for me? Because I got something to say. Prince is my favorite player on the Pistons because his desire. I like cats with heart. Prince, he constantly surprised you. He constantly take you somewhere that you never knew that he could go. And I like players like that. In essence, what I'm saying is, I like an assassin. Reggie Miller thought he had it. My man Prince came and threw it in the 15th row. This is what I'm talking about. Who gonna win the NBA Finals? You know what? The Lakers are cocky. If I was with them, then when Malone threw that elbow, Malone a dirty player. You dirty. Let me tell you something, Malone. You elbowed me in my chest like you did that, brother. Let me tell you something. I'll bust your big head wide open. Well, I'll wait for you outside. If you ever did me like that. You think 'cause you did, Malone, you can be dealt with. Let it roll, let it roll. That was a minute. Oh, that was quick. Time sure go by when you're having fun, ain't it?
Bernie better be careful he doesn't run into Karl Malone. 189 playoff games played without winning a title. More than anybody in NBA history. That could change in the next 4, 5, 6, or 7. He wants to join a group of Lakers who have titles like those guys. 14 titles represented there. Magic, the captain, and Big Game James visit with Ahmad Rashad as we continue live from the finals.
The Chevrolet Courtside Report is brought to you by Chevrolet. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American Revolution.
Welcome back to the Staples Center. I'm Ahmad Rashad, courtside as we get ready for the NBA Finals. I'm joined by my guest, James Worthy, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Magic Johnson. Now, legends in their own right. Now, you guys played the Pistons a couple times. What does it bring back to mind as you think about these two teams getting ready to play again?
Well, I think when we played them both series, you know, we were in for a war and a battle because they were a physical team. They like to try to intimidate you. And so what we tried to do was stay mentally strong and try to get into our running game so that they're good, or I should say they're great half-court defense did not stop us for what we wanted to do.
But as you look at this series right here, James, I say the pressure's all on the Lakers. Could they be overconfident?
You know, I think that's going to be their biggest obstacle is not to be overconfident because Detroit is a very good defensive team, and Larry Brown is a coach that knows how to deviate from the norm. So he coaches on his feet. And the fact that they play defense very well could present some problems for the Lakers if they're not focused.
Speaking of defense, Kareem, you played against the most dominant player of your era in Wilt Chamberlain. Shaq is the most dominant player right now. How do you confine this guy? I mean, how do you deal with it?
She said the only way you can deal with him is to hope that you can send him to the foul line a lot and hope he misses, and hope that the guys don't catch him on those really easy passes that he gets 3 feet from the hoop. I mean, he's so strong and immovable, 3 feet from the hoop. He gets great position, and he makes you pay. You have to pay. You must pay to Shaquille. You cannot get out of the gym without paying. And at the end of the game, you lost.
And so there is no way around it. Shaquille cannot be handled.
I doubt it.
No, because they know how to also move him across the lane. It's like what we do with Kareem. When teams was trying to be physical on him, what we did was set picks across, and then once Kareem get moving, you can't stop him. And the same thing with Shaquille.
You have a team like Detroit coming in here all loose. They have nothing to lose. Isn't that a dangerous situation?
Well, it can be a dangerous situation only if the Lakers let it be. If the Lakers play to their capability and to the level that they know they can play at, then that won't be a problem. I think the Lakers just have to play their A game. And then before we all leave, we have to say congratulations to Baby B, Byron Scott, for the job of New Orleans coach.
Yes, he's down New Orleans.
Bayou.
Give me the key. Each one of you give me the key matchup in this series.
Well, I think today it's going to be Rip Hamilton and Kobe Bryant. Both of them are tireless players. Both of them receive a lot of picks. That's going to be an interesting matchup.
I think the outside shooting for Detroit will win or lose the series for them. If they get good outside shooting efforts consistently, they can keep stride with the Lakers. It might be a horse race yet. You never know.
I think the key today is the nervousness of the Pistons, because these are all their first time being in the finals, and the experience of the Lakers. I think that's going to be the key today.
All right, guys, thanks for joining me. And that has been the Chevrolet Courtside Report. Back to you, Mike.
Okay, Ahmad, thank you. It's Laker greats there, and Magic made a good point of finals experience. 11 players on the floor have played in the finals, 9 for the Lakers, and the 2 are Lindsey Hunter, the reserve guard for Detroit, and Eldon Campbell, the reserve big man. Both of those guys played with the Lakers in their finals experience. I talked to a lot of writers who cover the NBA. Talked to the folks in Las Vegas. The Pistons, I have not seen picked to win the series anywhere. how do they contend and make it a long series, Tom?
Well, offensively, they're going to have to get, 85, 90, 95 points. They're going to try to outscore the Lakers, or at least I believe they're going to have to. Now, look, they're going to score more points than they did in the Pepsi Conference Finals, because that was just putrid. So they're going to have to get out and score a little bit. They can't beat the Lakers scoring in the 70s and 80s. That's what I'm going to be looking for throughout the whole series. Can they score enough to beat them?
Yeah, and I agree with Tom, but I think with Detroit, they got to make this series a little bit more of an up-tempo series. They got to get up and pressure the Lakers on the defensive end and try to get out and run on the offensive end, because as many easy baskets as they can get is going to be the best of their ability. It's going to be something that can benefit them in the long run, because if they don't get easy baskets and you try a half-court game against the Los Angeles Lakers, 4-7, whatever the series may go, you're going to lose that battle.
What do you think Gary Payton and Karl Malone are going through? They came here, sacrificed a lot to get to the finals. Now they're a couple of minutes away from tipping off. What do you think those guys are going through? Well, especially Karl, I got to imagine he's thinking, how many more shots am I going to get at this? This may be the last year he plays, so this could be now or never from here. I don't know what's going to happen with Gary, but I'm sure it's wild. And don't you think it's big that Karl hits his outside shot? Because that may be a point where Detroit tries to double-team Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, I think they're going to give Karl a lot of outside shots, so it's, it's imperative that he has to make a bunch of them.
Series is won by
Lakers.
Long or short?
6 games.
One coach will make history. Either Phil Jackson wins his 10th NBA title and passes Red Auerbach, or Larry Brown becomes the first to win the NBA and the NCAA championship as a head coach. We will see you at halftime, and remember, before every game at the finals. Al Michaels and Doc Rivers bring you Game 1 of the NBA Finals next here on ABC.
Chevrolet NBA Hang Time on ABC Sports, brought to you by the new Chevrolets, 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American revolution. And Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
The NBA playoffs started 7 weeks ago, and now the time is finally at hand to determine the champion. Game 1 of the best-of-7 NBA Finals from Staples Center in Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Lakers ready to take on the Detroit Pistons. I'm Al Michaels. Welcome to Los Angeles, and the Lakers almost consider this a birthright. This team has been in L.A. for 44 years. It's the 22nd time they've made it to the finals. This was a team constructed to win this championship when they went out and got Karl Malone and Gary Payton to add to Kobe and Shaq. Anything less than a championship will be a major disappointment. But it's been a crazy path. It's been like a plane ride through a thunderstorm for the Lakers. Meanwhile, for Detroit, a more placid season, even though they changed coaches in the offseason. Larry Brown, the Hall of Fame coach, came in. They have a suffocating defense, and they got an energy boost in mid-year when they added Rasheed Wallace, and he has made a huge difference. Now, with that as the preamble to the bigger story around the country, obviously, over the past day and a half, the passing of the 40th President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, the tribute tonight at Staples Center. And to tell you about it, here's the public address announcer, Lawrence Tanter.
Ladies and gentlemen, the nation and the world are mourning the passing of the former governor of California and our former president, Ronald Reagan. Please rise and join us as we honor the 40th president of the United States. Please remain standing and join us in observing a moment of silence for the 40th President of the United States, Ronald Reagan. And now to honor America. On the 60th anniversary of D-Day, please rise and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem by Dick Van Dyke and the Vanta Sticks, who will be accompanied by the Color Guard from the LA Air Force Base.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The usual capacity crowd of almost 19,000 is settling in. Staples Center in LA is the site. And we're back with the tip-off of Game 1 of the NBA Finals after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Reports from the Staples Center in LA tonight after the Pistons game.
The NBA Finals. Two teams left standing. A smothering defense against a lighted-up offense. The descendants of the 80s bad boys against the descendants of Showtime. Great individual matchups. Two strategic masterminds. The renewal of a rivalry. A team that contests every possession against a team designed to win this title. It's the NBA Finals. Game 1.
I got 24 seconds to live, and 200% is what I'm gonna give. So I push through the pain and raise my game. A victory is the only thing to gain. Even though I'm playing the game, I ain't playing. The trophy is the reason why I came. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Yeah. Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Staples Center in Los Angeles, home of the Lakers since the 99-2000 season. As we get ready for Game 1 of the NBA Finals, the Detroit Pistons against the Los Angeles Lakers. Showtime. Magic Johnson is here. Some of the old Piston bad boys. They'll be around during the playoffs. There was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and welcome to Game 1. Al Michaels with Doc Rivers. Michelle Tafoya and Stuart Scott will work the sideline. A lot of people thought the Lakers could win 70 games this year and go 70-12. Didn't happen. They won 56. Detroit won 54. But as far as the Lakers are concerned, they are here. Most people think they will win. They are heavily favored. A lot of people think they will sweep. Doc, I have to look at it this way. I think the Pistons have a lot better chance to beat the Lakers than Birdstone had to beat Smarty Jones yesterday. How do they do it?
That's a smart thing you're saying right there, Alan. And this is how they do it. They score points. You know, they believe if they can get to that 85 or 90 number, they know they're going to play defense. And the Detroit Pistons aren't looking at the Lakers like everyone else is looking at the Lakers. They're looking at them as an opponent. They believe if they can get to 85 or 90 points and average that in the series, that they will win this series.
And that might be a tough task, though, because in the Eastern Conference Finals just concluded, they averaged only 75 points a game, but they won the series. Let's take a look right now at the Bud Light starting lineups. Billups and Hamilton in the backcourt for Detroit. Prince, and then the unrelated Wallaces. Rasheed, who came over from Atlanta via Portland, of course, and then Ben Wallace in the middle with Payton and Bryant, George and Malone and O'Neal. For the Lakers, 4 of those guys, everybody but George, will clearly be going into the Hall of Fame someday. And now the ceremonial opening tip with Magic in the middle. James Worthy, former Laker, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, flanking Magic. And the opening ceremonial tip is taken by Shaq. Well, it's L.A. You got to give it to the home team, right?
He threw it that way.
So here we go with Joe Crawford, Bernie Fryer, and Bob Delaney as the officials tonight. Gary Payton, who came from Seattle and then Milwaukee last year, big pay cut to win a championship. Karl Malone to win a championship. Kobe now tries to win his 4th championship, as does Shaquille O'Neal. Joe Crawford will send it skyward, and at 10 minutes past 6 in Los Angeles, the NBA Finals get underway, but Shaq was whistled by Bernie Fryer from the side, prematurely going up for the tip.
Yeah, he kind of quick jump, if Shaq can quick jump. I don't know if you can put those 2 words together. But bottom line, you have to let the ball reach its apex before you can hit it, and he didn't do that.
He didn't, so they give it to Detroit, and that means Detroit will also inbound in the 4th quarter. The Lakers will inbound when they start the 2nd and 3rd periods. This is Chauncey Billups working outside. He'll be a key man in the series, and this is Wallace hitting on his first shot. Well, Rasheed Wallace, who was the bad boy in Portland, he was a walking technical foul, but he's been a model of civility since going to Motown.
He really has, and he's very important in this series. They believe Rip Hamilton would score. They need Rasheed Wallace to score, and they need Chauncey Billups to score points.
Here's Malone on a fadeaway, but O'Neal is there for the putback over Ben Wallace. Phil Jackson saying yesterday a healthy dose of Shaq.
Well, I think if you are a prize fighter, you want to come out and show guys your big punch. You're going to see that early.
Payton got it, then lost it, but Bryant gets it back. Kobe now settling into the half court. Devin George, Shaq on the high post, and then George slips down and loses the ball, and out of bounds it goes to Detroit. The crowd thought Hamilton touched it last.
I thought Hamilton touched it last also. Both officials were blocked out on the play, and that happens in a game. So it was tough to see.
So Detroit with the opening basket. A 3-pointer by Rasheed Wallace. This is Billups working off a screen, but Payton staying right with him. Now Hamilton misses his first shot of the finals, and Malone clears the board. Bryant losing it. Rasheed comes up with it. And now Hamilton in front of the Detroit bench. Pistons coached by Larry Brown. In the finals, 2nd time in 4 years. That's an air ball thrown up by Wallace. Rasheed is known for offense and defense. Ben is known for defense only. And there was Payton trying to get it to O'Neal, but too high.
Yeah, right now you can see Detroit defensively. They're not going to help off Shaq much. They know if someone beats them off the dribble, you can't leave Shaq because that leaves them free. Ben Wallace shooting the air ball doesn't bother the Pistons at all. They're not looking for his offense.
That's 3 straight Laker turnovers. And they lost the opening tip because of the premature jump by O'Neal.
So we've gone 2 minutes. The score's 3-2, Al. And I can tell you right now, this is exactly the way Larry Brown wants it.
Larry Brown's philosophy would be similar to a football coach who wants to keep possession of the ball as long as he can. and shorten the game. The fewer possessions the Lakers get, the better it will be for the Pistons.
Yeah, and he can't turn the ball over. That's the one thing Larry Brown said. Now, it's significant early. You see Kobe Bryant guarding Rip Hamilton, and Rip Hamilton fashions himself as the best conditioned athlete in the NBA. If he is, the second best conditioned athlete is Kobe Bryant. But an early foul is why you don't want Kobe on Rip too long.
That's Kobe with a foul, and let's check in with Michelle Tafoya. Hi, Michelle.
Well, Al, hi. Karl Malone said that this morning when he arrived here at the building for shoot-around, he, for the first time, allowed himself to realize, hey, this is it. These are the finals. First team to 4 wins. Anything else is just second place. Meanwhile, Lakers guard Derek Fisher sprained his MCL, medial collateral ligament, in the right knee in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. Al, I'm told if this were the regular season, he would not be playing, but he's just going to play through considerable pain and discomfort, Al.
It's the finals. We'll be hearing from Stuart Scott shortly. On the other sideline, Bryant missing the fall away, and Hamilton with a rebound. Phillips back to Hamilton. And Prince gets free. Tayshaun Prince coming home. Grew up in Compton, went to Dominguez High School, and one reason he's had a fast ascension, he's in only his second year, he's one of the few guys now who's played 4 years of college ball.
Yeah, and that helps. He's more mature than a lot of guys who have played 2 and 3 years. But Rip Hamilton, again, calls that entire play. He is drawing so much attention now from the Lakers that he's going to get everyone else involved.
Kobe missing a 3. Pistons up by 4. 3 minutes into game 1.
You can see the switch already with Devin George guarding Rip Hamilton. Again, lots of attention given to Rip Hamilton.
Hamilton missing the layup, sought the foul, didn't get it. Wallace missed the putback, and now the Lakers outside. Inside now to Shaq, and then Wallace tried to steal it. He came around, he tried to wrap his way around to steal it, and Shaq goes to the basket and gets fouled.
Well, that's what Larry Brown doesn't want. He wants, you're either going to front Shaquille O'Neal or you're going to stand behind him, and you have to keep the basket in between you and him. If you go for a steal and don't get it on Shaq, it's usually a dunk, and in this case, it's a three-point opportunity, and not only that, one of the Pistons, Rasheed Wallace, picks up another foul. Larry Brown does not want, of all the guys on the floor of the bigs, Rasheed Wallace getting in foul trouble.
And Shaq, who's hit 41% from the line in postseason with a three-point play. Pistons by 1, 8.5 to go. Opening quarter. Phillips drains it.
See, if there's an X factor in this series, I think it's Chauncey Billups. I think he's the one guy on Detroit that has an advantage because of his size. Gary Payton's a pretty big guy, but Chauncey Billups is a strong point guard, and it also takes Derek Fisher off the floor at times as well.
In their only 2 regular season meetings, as Shaq gets fouled again. The Lakers and the Pistons split 2 games back in November. They played within a 4-day span, once here, once there, and it was Billups who led the Pistons in scoring in both games. As we check in with Stuart Scott. Welcome, Stuart.
Al, thank you. The Lakers had 100 total games NBA Finals experience coming in. The Pistons had 6. But if you think Detroit feels like the local rec team, think again. Larry Brown told me that he keeps reminding Rip and Corliss, hey, you guys have played in an NCAA title game. That's one and done. It doesn't get any bigger than that. Lindsey Hunter said, you don't know the guys on this team. Tayshaun isn't bothered, Chauncey isn't phased, and Rip don't care about nothing as long as he's putting the ball in the basket. I asked Rip Hamilton about the difference in experience, and he looked me straight in the eye and he said, if we play our game, I love our chances. I love them. Al?
He'll really love them that they can split these 2 games here because then they're home for 3. The finals format is different than the first 3 rounds. It goes 2-3-2 with those 3 in Detroit. And Wallace takes it to the basket. Can't get it to drop. Misses the jam, and there's a foul.
But again, so far, Al, everything is being set up by Rip Hamilton. This entire play, Rip Hamilton comes off the handoff, draws Karl Malone up in the air, gets it to Rasheed Wallace. Now he misses the play and misses the dunk as well, but Devin George pushes him, and that's why he probably missed the tip dunk.
Hamilton, who played high school basketball in Pennsylvania against Kobe Bryant. Kobe grew up in the Philadelphia area, went to Lower Merion, and Hamilton is from Coatesville.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about those two guarding each other. I don't think you'll see that much. You might see Kobe guarding Rip. I don't think you're going to see Rip guarding Kobe at all. I think it's going to be Tayshaun Prince, and it is so far. And I think Tayshaun Prince is going to give Kobe Bryant some problems with his length. I think the key for Kobe Bryant is can he take Tayshaun off the dribble.
Kobe Bryant in the playoffs has averaged 25 points per game in the regular season. Bryant averaged 24. 7.5 to go in the period. Bryant, good fake on Hamilton, but can't drop it. Ben Wallace got the rebound. Chauncey Billups. Billups averaged 17 points during the regular season and 15 now in postseason.
Has not played well, or more particularly has not shot the ball well in postseason. I think he's really confused at times on what he wants to be, a point guard or just a scorer. And I think he's better suited as just being a scorer, trying to run the team as a scoring point guard.
5 minutes into the game, all of the Laker points have been scored by O'Neal.
Here's another one.
And he keeps that alive with 2 more.
See, again, if they allow dribble penetration, then if Shaq Mans helps, then he gets all the rebounds. That's what's happening. That's the second time that's happened already.
10-8 with all 8 for O'Neal as Billups hits here, and Detroit is up by 4. Lakers tonight, O'Neal in the middle, and the rest of the team 0 for 6. Into Shaq again. They keep going to him. Guarded by Ben Wallace. That doesn't drop, and he travels. So the Lakers turn it over again.
Yeah, that's more what Larry Brown wants. He wants to just make Shaq score over top. You can't allow him to get as close to the basket as he's been already in this game.
First time out of the game. 6:11 to go in the period. Detroit by 4.
The NBA Finals on ABC, brought to you by Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-sized. Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. Walt Disney Pictures Around the World in 80 Days, coming to theaters everywhere June 16th. And American Express, the official card of high flyers.
Early evening in Los Angeles. Temperature today into the upper 70s. Pete Sampras very much enjoying retirement, playing a lot of golf, enjoying life. Star Jones from The View, who was here for the All-Star game and got engaged that night. Vin Diesel. There's another Diesel in the building. Yes. That's what Shaq calls himself. Leonardo DiCaprio.
That is Slim Diesel.
Right. And of course, courtside, Jack Nicholson. I don't know if Jack will be in Detroit. We know that, well, Kid Rock will be there. I assume Eminem might be there.
Yeah, there's a chance.
The Pistons, meanwhile, how about the job that Joe Dumars has done? Great player, of course, for many years with Detroit. He drafted Prince. He drafted Milicic. Then he brought Larry Brown in to replace Rick Carlisle. He got Eldon Campbell. And most of the deals that Joe has made have turned out splendidly. Prince drives, and it may have been interference, and it was. The ball was in the cylinder, and interference is called here.
And when you're Detroit and you're looking for every bucket, you don't want to give up any. But again, Tayshaun Prince being aggressive is a good sign if you're the Detroit Pistons and Larry Brown.
That was Eldon Campbell who's come into the game as Detroit makes its first switch. The Pistons have started the same starting 5 in all 18 playoff games. Bryant. And the Lakers finally get a basket from somebody other than Shaquille.
Yeah, and not the basket. You know, I think Larry Brown would take that. That's Kobe Bryant taking jump shots. He doesn't want Kobe Bryant beating guys off the dribble, creating havoc.
Here's Campbell, a former Laker. Beautiful feed to Hamilton.
That's a staple of Larry Brown coming out of timeouts. He loves the lobs and the back door. That was set up out of the timeout by Larry Brown,
who's pretty good at setting stuff up out of timeouts. Devin George drops it. You know, one interesting contrast here with the coaches, Doc. Phil Jackson has won 9 titles, seeking a 10th, not in the Hall of Fame. Larry Brown seeking his first, in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I think that'll be fixed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Pretty shortly, too.
2-point Detroit lead. Larry with Philadelphia over the last 6 years. And, of course, the back and forth with Allen Iverson, so well documented. Who can forget? I mean, Larry Brown is a guy who loves practice more than the games, and he's got a guy going, practice?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hardly a match made in heaven.
You know, every single player on the Pistons team, they all say this. You got to play the game the right way, because that's what Larry Brown says every single day.
Malone missing, but Shaquille is there for the offensive board. Puts it up and drops it and gets fouled. So the game is tied, and Shaquille O'Neal has 10 points in the first 7 minutes and 43 seconds.
Well, again, offensive rebounds. Every time a guy dribble penetrates, if they help, Shaq gets the rebound. If Shaq gets deep to the bucket, it's very difficult to stop him. Now, that's the second touch foul from Rasheed Wallace, and both of them absolutely were fouls. But if you're going to foul Shaq, you got to foul him hard. And Larry Brown does not want touch fouls in this series.
And when you have a guy pick up 2 fouls with 4:17 left in the first quarter, you're compelled, as is Brown right now, to take Rasheed out and bring Ben Wallace back in as O'Neal misses the free throw.
But where it hurts Detroit is when Rasheed goes out, he's one of the few scorers that this team has.
And apart from they need Phillips to pick up the scoring pace. They know they can get points from that guy, Hamilton. Campbell, one-time Laker. And he gets fouled. You know, Stuart Scott brought up the fact that the Pistons have only 6 games worth of finals experience. And think of it in these terms. 3 games from Eldon Campbell, 3 games for Lindsey Hunter when they were Lakers.
When they were Lakers. So is that a minus? I mean, should we take those away?
Yes. Neutral.
I do think that the experience is a factor in this series. I don't think it swings it towards the Lakers, meaning because of the experience, Detroit can't win. But when you have 100 games of experience to 6, it has to be a factor in whatever you do.
Timeout call between free throws. Timeout Lakers 14-14. You're watching the NBA Finals on ABC Sports Championship.
We haven't even played 6 minutes yet, and we have 4 turnovers because you don't know what you want to do. You want to pass the ball. You want to use automatic.
Well, that was Phil Jackson letting them know early. You know, I was reading something that Rick Fox said, and he basically said Phil Jackson this year has not used all the mind games that he has used in the past. He basically are letting guys know. He knows that this is a team. There's a very good chance this team will not be together next year. And so he doesn't have time to build relationships. He's getting them to do what he needs them to do, and he's telling them in a direct way. And in that timeout, you can hear him. He was not cutting anything.
You know, Doc, they talk about a sense of urgency. Phil doesn't sound that way in December, January, or February. It's June. Here's Michelle.
Hey, guys, after Phil Jackson's career as a pro player, he was not planning on coaching. I asked him what he might have done if he hadn't gone into coaching. He said, when I got out of the NBA, there was a test for retired players to tell you what you were suited to do. He said, my 3 answers, outdoor expedition guide, minister and psychologist, or house husband. Fortunately, I found something else.
But next year, some of those may be available again if he doesn't come back. Here's Billups driving to the basket to retake the lead for Detroit.
See, and again, you know, one of the things Phil Jackson, the reason he's upset over the turnovers, he knows that the Detroit Pistons can score off of turnovers, and he also knows if they get to that number that the Pistons think, that 90 number, that it's very difficult to score against this team. So he's making his team understand you have to take care of the basketball.
Shaq just got fouled. You know, it's well known with Jackson that he's very much into Zen Buddhism. He meditates a lot, but this year what he's had to do is mediate a lot. Yes. What a year it's been. I mean, you've got Kobe against Shaq. You got Phil and Kobe. You got, is Phil going to come back? Are they going to, you know, renew his contract? Is anybody going to come back?
Is Karl Malone coming back? Is Gary Payton coming back? Is Kobe coming back? Shaq wants a new deal.
Right.
This, you know, and I said it earlier, the Lakers should play at 3 p.m. with the other soap operas because that's what it's been all year. But through all of it, we're sitting here in game 1, and the Lakers are still playing.
I've never seen a situation like this in sports, wall to wall, from the beginning of training camp. And, of course, you know, you have to go back when you talk to the Lakers with the foul here. Foul on Gary Payton. You go back, of course, to the signing of the free agents. Then you go back to Kobe's Colorado legal situation. I mean, Kobe this year has been, I mean, think about it. He's a defendant by day and a superstar by night. And then you've got Shaq complaining at the beginning of the year about his contract and all of the stuff that went on. And then Malone got hurt, and Karl missed 40 games this year, half the season.
Yeah, you know, I thought where it started was when Karl Malone went out. I really did. They started the season out like they were going to win that 72 games. Karl Malone gets hurt. Kobe is having his off-the-court problems. Shaq's unhappy. Phil Jackson's not getting signed again. And I thought that's where things fell apart, if you can call anything that fall apart in L.A., because here, again, they are playing in a final game.
And we haven't even talked about Gary Payton, who just picked up his second foul, and that's why Fisher's in the game, and he immediately turns the ball over to Chauncey Billups, who leads Wallace, and Ben tried to reverse layup and didn't come close.
No, that's one where Ben Wallace has to catch it, go straight up and dunk. And again, that's a two-point opportunity that Detroit should have had, and they didn't get.
George guarded by Prince. Now Bryant with 5 on the 24. O'Neal. Malone has to put it up. And Ben Wallace skies for the rebound. 3-point Detroit lead. A little more than 2 minutes remaining in the opening period in game 1. Second game here on Tuesday. Then to Auburn Hills, to the Palace outside Detroit, game 3 on Thursday as Prince drives and can't get it to drop. Now Fisher underneath. And it's a jump ball, clean block.
See, now, they've had a block shot. The Lakers have had 5 turnovers. Most likely, and I'm just a guessing man here, Elton Campbell's going to win this tap over Derek Fisher. That is exactly like a turnover for the Lakers. And the last time before that, they shot the ball with 1 second left on the shot clock. So, again, if you're Detroit, you like the pace of this game. It's a slow-paced game. You're forcing turnovers, and you're limiting shots by the Lakers. This is exactly the way Larry Brown wants this game played.
Kareem Rush comes into the game, gets a big hand because he was the hero in the clinching game against Minnesota the other night, hitting 6 3-pointers. Lindsey Hunter came into the game replacing Chauncey Billups. And that's something with Detroit winning the tip that Larry Brown likes to do. He likes to take Billups out for Hunter toward the end of the first quarter and give him a pretty good, as Larry puts it, extended rest.
Yeah, and I think it's good matchup in this series because Derek Fisher is not a big point guard, neither is Lindsey Hunter, so they kind of fit each other.
Hamilton was guarded by Rush. Now Campbell is free. And just before the 24 went off, he puts it in, and Detroit is up by 5.
You know, Elton Campbell practiced against Shaquille O'Neal, so he knows who Shaquille O'Neal is. He was traded partly because of Shaquille O'Neal, because they already had a 5, and Elton wanted to be the 5. So he's going to be very comfortable in this series.
Relatively speaking, Doc.
Yeah.
How do you guard Shaq and be comfortable as Rush misses what would have been a 3?
Yeah, great point. Yeah.
Under a minute to play, opening period. And Bryant with the steal. Keeps it inbounds, drives, scores. Kobe Bryant now has 4 points. O'Neal is already in double figures with 11. Rasheed Wallace is the leading scorer for Detroit with 5, but he's on the bench. Now to Ben Wallace, and Shaq gets there and commits the foul. Joey Crawford calls it. So back to the Bryant steal now.
Well, this is more of a careless pass, Al. I mean, you could see Kobe sneaking up before the pass was even thrown. So pretty easy steal, not an easy basket that he makes. Kobe Bryant makes the toughest shots look so simple at times.
Ben Wallace is a Shaq-like free throw shooter. He hit 49% during the regular season, 48% in post. I wouldn't kid you, Dan.
No. You know, it's funny that because Shaquille O'Neal is such a great player that we talk so much about Shaquille O'Neal as a free throw shooter, yet Ben Wallace is an all-star player on another team, and you don't hear a lot of talk about him as a free throw shooter, and probably because he's not a big scorer, so he doesn't get the ball as much.
Right. I mean, Shaq's a guy who's going to average in the mid-20s, and Wallace is a guy who averaged only 9.5 this season. Darvin Ham comes into the game for the Pistons. Put a little pressure on as the period winds down.
And all that pressure is for the Lakers to use clock. That's all Larry Brown wants them to do. He wants to get them down late clock situations and then play his defense.
6-second differential. And that gets blocked by Wallace, but they're going to call goaltending. 21-19.
Excellent move. I tell you, goaltending is such a tough call. It really is. You can make a case that was going up, but it was also over the cylinder.
And now with less than 4 seconds, Slava Medvedenko, who's come into the game, fouls Hamilton.
And you're talking about bad fouls. You know,
That's
with 3.9 on the clock to end the quarter, the last thing you want to do is foul a guy behind the three-point line with no chance of shooting at that time.
Hamilton at the line. He's wearing that plastic mask because of a broken nose. So he wears it to protect himself. I mean, he looks a little bit like Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs.
Yes, he does. And you know, you can make a case that he's been eating up to his opponent.
Yes. Stop. And we didn't even rehearse that. That's why I'm really going to miss it. 22-19, Detroit by 3. Lakers will get off one more prayer here as Bryant from half court. Missing there. And Detroit at the end of the first quarter, the Detroit Pistons in game 1 of the NBA Finals lead the Los Angeles Lakers 22-19. And the Lakers lead the first quarter by Shaquille O'Neal with a total of 11 points.
The thrill of victory, the agony of... Now, from way downtown, yes! Do you believe in... Been there, done that.
Hey, Al, we know it's your first final, but give us a break.
So what do you think? Sorry, guys, can you take it from the top?
Stupid trophy.
This game is fantabulous.
That doesn't even make sense.
You okay, big fella? Good help.
Lakers in the first quarter held to 19 points. The Pistons in the 73 quarters they have played now in the playoffs have held their opponents 40 times, Doc, under 20 points. You know, the Lakers, in watching them all year, they took games off. They took weeks off. They kind of took the first quarter off in a little way tonight, too.
Yeah, you can make that case, or you can make the case about the defense. And, you know, the Pistons defense, everyone said going into this, was it for real? Or was it bad offense? I think right now you're finding out it was good defense. I want you to take a look here. Kobe Bryant, 1, 2, 3 guys, or he's drawing that much attention. You know, I think what they're saying with this is that they can't stop Shaq. They understand that. But the one guy they must try to slow down is Kobe Bryant. And we're going to give him a ton of attention. And by that graphic and that video right there, you saw that.
And that attention has paid off because Kobe was 2 out of 6 from the field, 0 for 3 on 2-point attempts. He had 4 points. And O'Neal, who now comes out of the game to start the second quarter. That's almost stolen by Hunter, but he was out of bounds. He has 11. Let's check in with Stuart Scott.
Al, Detroit had a 3-point lead at the end of the first quarter, and Larry Brown reminded his team, he said, look, guys, we had 5 missed layups and a bunch of missed free throws. He said, we can get our shot. He said, talking about L.A., he said, they're not guarding anybody. Al?
You know, it's very interesting, Al, because talking to the Piston coaches, that's the one thing they kept saying is that we're going to get our shots. We didn't get our shots in the Indiana series because Indiana is an excellent defensive team. If we make our shots, we know we are a great defensive team, they're saying, and they can compete in the series, and you're seeing it.
Well, they had 22 in the first quarter tonight. They had only 11 points the other night against Indiana in the first quarter in a game in which they clinched the East. You saw Bryant hit to make it a 1-point game. You know, a foul here on Kareem Rush.
We've done a ton of Laker games this year, I would say. And the one thing that Phil Jackson has said all year is there's one area that he's disappointed in is their defense. And their defense will be tested in this series.
They got a little better when they had to. In the playoffs, especially against San Antonio, after San Antonio had taken a 2-0 lead. Rush to Medvedenko. And a blocking foul here in the game for Detroit. Mehmet Okur from Turkey. One of the guys that Doc talked about earlier as a Shaq guarder.
You know, every time Medvedenko comes in, I get a grin and I laugh because he didn't get the memo that he's one of the role players on this team. You know, when he touches the ball, it's very likely that is going up. You know, he per minute, per 48 minutes, has the third most attempts on this team. It's pretty interesting when he comes in the game.
Never met a shot attempt he didn't like. He was important the other night, too, when he came off the bench against Minnesota, and he gives the Lakers the lead, and it's the first time in the game that Los Angeles has led.
Well, what you're waiting for here, if you're an LA fan, is a spurt. And they haven't had any type of runs or spurts in this game thus far.
And the irony is, with Payton and Malone coming here to win rings, neither scored in the first quarter. Hunter from outside. Malone high for the rebound. Bats it, comes over to the first row. And ooh, Phillips went head over heels by the first row. Lands.
He fell
on the
hard.
Oh yeah, we're right down the.
I tell you, he fell hard, Al, and he landed on his back on the corner of the step. And it may not hurt now because of adrenaline, but that will hurt later. I mean, watch this. That's a hard fall.
I'm always amazed when they get up that quickly. Shaquille has done that a couple of times. In fact, in a Sunday afternoon game that we did, he had what looked like a nasty fall as Okur goes to the basket and gets fouled on his way to the hoop.
You know, always look at falls, and I did as a player too. If you have time to brace yourself, then you're okay. When you don't have time to brace yourself, then you can get hurt. And on that last fall, you can see Chauncey Billups had no time to brace his fall.
Slava's second foul. Okur misses the first. Magic's Laker with the winner of the all-time finals challenge. You can visit the NBA store online at NBA.com. Pick up a Lakers DVD box set online at NBA.com. Started to talk about, remember when Shaq went head over heels over a guy in the first row, and then Michelle interviewed him after the game and asked him about it. He said, I do my own stunts.
He's had some great one-liners.
He's the king of comedy.
He really is.
Rick Fox comes into the game for the first time as Bryant goes out. O'Neal comes back in. Fisher. Malone. Phillips the other way. Ben Wallace gets by Malone and then stepped out of bounds. So he got by Carl, but not before he stepped on the end line. Detroit turns it over.
I tell you, if you're Larry Brown, you're a little upset because you've had a golden opportunity so far in this game to have a big lead. They've missed layups. They've missed close shots. They've not converted on turnovers, and that's what they have to do to win this game tonight.
His team has turned the ball over 6 times now, and the Lakers, who had 4 early turnovers, have a total of 5. 2 minutes into the second quarter. O'Neal And again, he'll go to the free throw line.
But again, that's Corliss Williamson. So, you know, we talked about 4 guys they can put on him. Corliss Williamson is the 5th guy that they're going to use his fouls also. The one thing Detroit has an advantage on, they are extremely deep. And they're going to use fouls every time Shaq gets close. So this is not Hack-a-Shaq. This is Hack-Shaq when he gets close to a bucket that you know he's going to score on.
Shaquille O'Neal with 12 points. He has scored 25 or more points in 19 games that he has played in the NBA Finals. This is his 4th. The record, Michael Jordan with 20. So Shaq well on his way to equaling that mark with 13 now in the 13 minutes he has played. Hunter gets fouled. So the Lakers by 2. Hunter is a guy who played the early part of his career with Detroit. Then he went to Toronto, and he was actually involved in that Rasheed Wallace 3-way deal this year when Rasheed went to Atlanta for, you know, a cup of coffee. And they sent Hunter to Boston. Here comes Bryant back into the game for Rush, but they knew they were going to get him back a week later, and here he is again.
And I think he's real happy with that.
Yes.
I don't know if I am.
Could have been your guy.
Exactly.
Doc will be coaching the Celtics next year. O'Neal coming out high. And then Kobe. This is what would have been a long 2.
Everything's extended out right now for the Lakers. They're getting shots, but you can see, and this is why Phil Jackson was so upset in the one timeout, they're not getting their shots.
Hunter pressured by Fisher. Shaquille comes away from the basket. Williamson gets the rebound, puts it back in, and the Pistons have the lead again, 27-25.
Yeah, and that's a tough matchup for Rick Fox. I mean, Corliss Williamson is usually guarded by 4s. They put him in at the 3 spot. That's a very tough matchup for Rick Fox, especially down low.
Fisher. Rebound to Wallace. Funny thing about the Lakers, you watch Derek Fisher and you think about the Fab 4 and all the guys going to the Hall of Fame. They might not be here, though, were it not for Derek Fisher with his 4-10 shot against San Antonio and Kareem Rush the other night.
Yeah, role players, you know, you can have all the stars in the world. If you don't have great role players and guys willing to accept those roles, you're not going anywhere.
The bench is big, especially in a best of 7. 8:31 to the half. Pistons by 2. Steve Coogan and Jackie Chan are there, Doc. They're going to star in Around the World in 80 Days, a Disney film that comes out June 15th. We had to do that or we'd be suspended.
Yeah, and that's how we feel. We've been around the world.
Yes, we have. Jim Belushi is here tonight. Chris Rock, a regular at Laker games.
He's shaking his head like it's the media.
Dustin Hoffman, kissing, I hope, a relative. Or else.
We have a story.
Or else Liz Smith. Start typing.
Oh, my.
Phil Jackson trying to break a tie with Red Auerbach. Most championships, NBA history. Brian and O'Neal, 19 points. Rest of team 6. Malone gets the rebound. 8.5 to go in the half. Detroit up by 2. Fox, who missed half the season, mending his broken foot, which he sustained in the playoffs last year. Now Shaq against Okur. 3-second violation.
Yeah. He was in the paint before he caught the ball, wanted to take the shot. The double team prevented him from taking the shot. So easy call for the officials.
Doc, in reality, a 3-second call really means what? You're in the lane 4 seconds?
Yeah, exactly, because it takes a second to get in the lane.
Right.
And it takes a second before they notice you. See, again, tough matchup, and Larry Brown knows that. One of the things Larry Brown does is he tries to find a weakness defensively on the other team, and then he'll keep going to that weakness. Right now, he thinks he has an advantage with Corliss Williamson. So if you're at home, look for the Pistons to keep going down there until the Lakers do something about it.
Williamson misses the first. Very few things in sports like a Game 7. There'll be one tomorrow on the Gulf Coast from Tampa. It'll be the Calgary Flames and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Gary Thorne and John Davidson, Bill Clement, John Saunders, Barry Melrose, the whole crew going down for one of the great things in sports, a Game 7. If there's a Game 7 in this series, it would be 2 weeks from tonight right here.
And it would be great to have one. I thought the puck went over the line. I don't know much about hockey, but that was a goal.
I'm calling JD right now. Hold on. O'Neal got it back from Fox, but Okura was there to slap it away. These two teams met in '88, and the Lakers beat Detroit in a 7th game. 6 on the shot clock now as they inbound. And then the following year they met again, and Detroit swept Los Angeles. O'Neal.
Again, way too deep, Allen. You know, again, they do not want Shaq to have those type of shots, obviously. They're trying to force him away from the bucket. But so far in Game 1, in this game, Shaq's getting way too close to the hoop.
15 points. He's 5 of 6 from the field, and Shaq is 5 of 8 from the free throw line. Hamilton. Travel. 7:11 remaining. First half in Los Angeles. Larry Brown's Detroit Pistons hanging right in on top by 1, 28-27. The Lakers' dominant man tonight has been Shaquille O'Neal with 15 points. Chauncey Billups, the leading scorer for Detroit, with 8. Game 1 tonight, Game 2 here Tuesday, and then it's on to Detroit for 3. O'Neal, foul.
You know, you look at that move right there, and you look at Shaquille O'Neal and the size, and what is he reported as what he weighs now? 360?
340, I think.
Well, he weighs more than any of those. But what no one talks about is his athleticism and his quickness. I mean, that move he made shouldn't be able to be done by a guy the size of him. But he can do it.
And probably can't be appreciated because he is such a monster.
He is. He is a big man.
5 of 9 now from the free throw line.
You know, I know hitting Pedro is very difficult, Al, but I think guarding Shaq is pretty tough also.
I would put that in the top 10. Devin George, Karl Malone, Gary Payton, Kobe, and O'Neal are the Laker 5 on the floor right now. Prince, Hamilton, Billups has come back. And you've got Ben Wallace in the game and Eldon Campbell for Detroit. 28 all. Approaching the halfway mark of the second quarter. Campbell, just like practice for a number of years, against O'Neal. Hamilton, contested by Bryant. Rebound goes to Malone. Again, Payton and Malone still scoreless. 0 for 7 from the field between them. For Shaq, it's a different story. He dishes it off to Malone, and Cross still can't get anything to drop. George, they're going to work it into Shaq again. And then George can't handle it, but it goes out of bounds off Detroit. Timeout here. Los Angeles with a game tied 28 all. ABC Sports, home of the NBA Finals.
I remember this one time I was after this fine lady up from over there on King Boulevard. I couldn't get nowhere, nohow.
That's because you're ugly. Man, I'm so lost.
You really in love, ain't you, Ben?
She's all I think about. Night, day and night. I got it bad. Real bad? Real bad.
Trophy, no. I've seen it before, but never like this.
the NBA Finals on ABC. Brought to you by Sprite Remix Berry Clear. Rethink, remix, refresh. The new Chevrolets, 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American revolution. And Coors Aspen Edge, so good it doesn't even know it's low carb.
Back we come to Staples Center. Al Michaels, Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya, Stuart Scott. Phil Jackson said they will see a healthy dose of Shaq, and he wasn't lying. It's like castor oil for the Pistons.
No, he knows that's a matchup that Detroit cannot handle, and the Lakers have gone to him almost exclusively every possession. And when you look at it, where he's caught the ball, most of them have been dunks, and Larry Brown doesn't want that. Look at the fouls already. He's drawn 4 fouls already from the bigs of Detroit. That means they have 20 fouls left.
Shaq has played 17 of the 18 minutes. Got a brief blow at the end of the first quarter. Lakers inbounding 11 on the shot clock. Hamilton tried to steal but couldn't. Bryant to Malone. 5 on the shot clock. Here's O'Neal. He'll take it up. Tayshaun Prince back for Detroit.
Now that's the 3rd time that the Lakers have taken a shot with less than 2 seconds on the shot clock. That's good Detroit defense.
Phillips. And Campbell got the rebound and also I think got poked in the eye or hit in the face as that one drops, and it's a 3-point Detroit lead.
Yeah, Phillips has to play well. Again, he is the X factor in this series, in my opinion.
He has moved around. You had him for a few minutes, didn't you, Doc, in Orlando?
I had him a whole year, but he didn't put a uniform on.
That's what I meant, a few minutes.
I'm used to that.
Yes, you are. Here's Bryant. Kobe comes up short again.
And that was Tayshaun Prince's length that bothered Kobe Bryant on that shot.
Bryant is now 3 of 9. Wallace over to Campbell. Malone gets the rebound, but the quick hands of Hamilton. He still can't get possession for Detroit, though, as Kobe swings it over to a wide-open George for 3. 31 all.
And that was all caused by the steal and not steal by Rip Hamilton. I tell you, in this league, if you go for a steal and don't get it, most of the time, the other team scores. The guys are just too good.
Campbell, the bounce pass to Hamilton, but he fumbled it out of bounds. Larry Brown, he's the oldest man to ever coach in the finals. Larry's 63. Also coached in the finals with Philadelphia when he was 60. You know, Doc, you think about it. Since the calendar turned to 2000, Dick Vermeil won a Super Bowl at age 63. Scotty Bowman won a Stanley Cup at 68. A whistle here. Jack McKeon won a World Series at 72. At least there's one profession that doesn't have this mindless obsession with a young demographic.
Yeah, in coaching. So what you're saying is I don't have a chance.
Doc, you're kind of right in the middle here.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
You stay with me for a few years. Then we get you a little savvier.
There is some truth to that. I mean, if you have experience, you have experience, and especially in coaching. It's not like the coaches have to go out there and play. You need that experience, and I think the older coaches can relay that. And some of the younger coaches, obviously, because I'm young, I must say that, can do it as well. But Larry Brown, I played for this man, and he is all about the game of basketball. Phil Jackson is the same way. The things that stand out to me from both of them, they're both communicators, and they both have the ability to sell their players on playing the game through roles.
Phil is 58. By the way, how good does Larry Brown look for a guy who's 63?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Campbell to Prince. I guess coaching is like horse training. The older horse trainers always look great. I don't know, is it being outdoors?
Yeah.
With the whole thing, but maybe being around young guys.
Oh, I don't think that hurts.
Dr. Jack Ramsey was doing the game on radio in his 70s. Bryant misses. 33 all. 3:23 remaining in the half, and Larry Brown's going to stop it. Timeout, Detroit. 3:23 left in the half. 33 all in game one.
The Detroit Pistons, first time in the finals in 15 years. They're tied with the Lakers at 33. A couple of minutes before the Verizon Wireless halftime report, Mike Tirico, Byron Scott, Tom Tolbert will join you then. A little thought from you guys at how this thing has settled in the first 24 minutes or so.
Well, the Lakers, I think the best offense is Shaquille O'Neal offensive rebounding. Kobe has yet to get to the rim in the half-court offense, and Detroit's missed a lot of layups and a lot of free throws.
You know, both teams are just jostling for position right now. They're just filling each other out. It's more like a boxing match at this particular point. I think the second half they'll start to loosen up a little bit more, and you'll see some better basketball.
At halftime, the story of Karl Malone. Al mentioned he sacrificed to come here and try to win a title. It's been a tough year away from basketball. We'll talk about that coming up. Verizon Wireless halftime report. Al.
All right, thank you, guys. And there is Michael Eisner, our ultimate boss, Diane Stern, wife of the commissioner, David Stern, the commish out here for game one, and he's hoping it'll be an entire fortnight, otherwise known as 2 weeks.
Yes, and the way it looks so far, it could happen.
You know, Doc, one thing we should talk about right now is the change in format. In the earlier rounds, it goes 2-2 and then 1-1-1. You go back and forth. In the finals, 2 at home, 3 on the road, and then 2 at home if there is a 6th and 7th game. It would seem to me as Payton steals it and he has Kobe out in front, and the Lakers take the lead. Is there a bigger premium on the home team winning both games in this format as opposed to the other format?
No, you know, I think the 3 games, it hurts more because I think in the finals it's very difficult. You have 2 good basketball teams. It's very difficult to beat either one of these teams 3 times in a row. So in essence, the team with the 3 is giving away one of those games. They're going to lose one of those games. It's almost guaranteed.
Ben Wallace just tied the game. 2:40 to go in the first half. Payton into Malone. Into Shaq, and Shaq puts it in. Wow. Shaquille O'Neal with a total now of 18 points in the 20 minutes he's played.
And he's made some difficult shots. They haven't been all dunk. So, you know, those are the type of shots that Larry Brown doesn't mind.
Campbell missing, but goes to the free throw line. 28 points now, 28 of the Lakers' 37 points from the 2 big guys, and Malone and Payton still haven't scored.
Well, you knew coming into this series that there was no answer from Shaq. Well, the Lakers have already proven that there is no answer for Shaq. What we didn't know is if they can get Kobe on track, and really so far they have not. Kobe has got some steals and got an easy bucket there, but it's been difficult scoring for him thus far.
Bryant is 4 of 11 from the field. 0 for 2 from beyond 3. 1 of 2 for Campbell here with Malone with the rebound.
Yeah, I think this is a key stretch in the game, and obviously the first half is how you close out the half. Detroit wants to try to close this half out with the score at where it's at or even take a lead.
And O'Neal gets fouled. Meanwhile, Rasheed Wallace, such a big part of their success, has not played in this quarter because of 2 personal fouls. Here's Michelle.
Hey, guys, during the last timeout, Phil Jackson and his staff talked about executing the offense. They told the team, we're not moving the ball, we're not doing the things we've talked about doing, and this is much more about us than it is about Detroit. Way too much dribbling, not enough passing. Since that timeout, Doc, how have they responded?
Well, they've gotten 2 turnovers. That's basically what they've done. But Phil Jackson is right. The Laker in the triangle offense is an offense predicated on ball movement, not dribble movement. And if you watch the Lakers thus far in this half, it's all been off the dribble. That's not the way Phil Jackson and his Lakers staff wants them to play. And I don't think he believes he can beat the Pistons playing that way.
Shaquille O'Neal now has 20 points and stopped the presses 8 of 12 from the free throw line. That misses the rim. O'Neal gets the rebound. 30 points, 30 of the 39, but they're up by 3. Most points for Shaq in any half in this year's playoffs. Lakers playing their 18th postseason game. O'Neal trying to get it underneath to George and couldn't get it through Campbell. Ticking down to a minute. Williamson.
That's one of the few guys that Karl Malone actually get out of the way for.
Think of the dirty work Malone has to do. He had Duncan for 6 games. He had Garnett for 6 games. So he hasn't scored, but he's always a factor. Stolen by Detroit. Here's Billups. He goes all the way and then drops it off, and the foul is committed here. Williamson going to the hoop. Gary Payton gets whistled, and that's the 3rd foul on Gary Payton. He's the first Laker with 3 fouls. In fact, he's the first guy on either team. Now, are you surprised that Larry Brown hasn't put Rasheed Wallace back in the game here in the 2nd quarter?
I'm really not. You know, I think Larry Brown is counting fouls right now as much as the score. He's looking at the scoreboard. He sees it's a 1-point game, so they're safe. This way you go in the second half and you have 4 fouls to use from Rasheed Wallace. I guarantee you if it was an 8 or 9-point deficit, you would see Rasheed Wallace. Sometimes coaches, they don't just go by seconds. They just look at the scoreboard. And that's what he's subbing by. He's not subbing by minutes. He's doing it by the score. And as long as the score stays close, keep Rasheed on the bench, we can use him in the second half.
Payton goes out with his 3. Fisher comes in. Final minute of the first half. And Detroit has the lead by 1.
You know, this will be the 18th straight time now for the Lakers that they have not scored 50 points or more in the first half. So, you know, we talk about the Pistons offense. Right now, the Lakers offense is not as well and not that great either.
George passed up the 3, settles for the 2 attempt, doesn't get that. Malone comes up with the ball. Now the Lakers should move it back outside because they can run the clock just about all the way down, but Bryant will take it there anyway. They could have taken the clock down to about 2, but Kobe saw the opening, and the Lakers have the lead.
And he never saw the clock.
Yeah.
That is the one guarantee, because when the ball was going in the bucket, I was looking at Phil Jackson and his staff. They were all shaking their heads like, no.
Now they're going yes. Lakers by 1. Timeout Detroit. 15.4 seconds remaining in the close opening half. Lead is seesawed. Game available tonight in HD and SAP. Right here on ABC. Rasheed Wallace is going to come into the game. 15.4 seconds, and of course you risk a 3rd foul, but that's the one thing I would least expect from Wallace at this point.
Yeah, and they have the ball, so they're going to take the last shot. And what Larry Brown is saying is we're going to spread the floor with Rasheed. He's not going to be involved until the last second, so really tough for him to get a foul.
Hamilton drives on Bryant, and then Kobe rejects it. Hamilton saves it from going out of bounds, and then a double dribble. Great defense. You know, the thing about Bryant, if you're a casual basketball fan, you know about Kobe. You know about Kobe in more ways than you care to know. But you think of him on the basketball floor as an offensive guy. He's also a tremendous defender.
He really is. And one thing that should be of note, you know, no one really wants to guard Rip Hamilton, but Kobe Bryant said in practice this week, and he asked Phil Jackson, please put me on him. I can guard him. And he's done a great job in the first half so far of guarding Rip Hamilton.
Hamilton is 1 for 6, being guarded by Bryant, and has turned the ball over 5 times. Fisher, final shot of the half. The Lakers want a foul. There is no foul called. Derek says, come on.
Well, one thing the officials are saying is if you're going to throw your body into a guy and try to draw a foul, we're not going to give you a foul, and that's what they're saying here.
Yeah, we're hip to it.
You can watch him. See, that's Derek Fisher bringing the contact to Lindsey Hunter. It looks bad, but it wasn't. That was not a foul.
Here's Michelle.
All right, with Kobe Bryant. Kobe, you said coming into this game, one of the concerns was your lack of familiarity with the Pistons. What did you learn in this first half?
Well, you know, we're still trying to get a feel for their rhythm. You know, it's the first time we really played them, so it's kind of like 2 heavyweight boxers filling each other out.
And you and Rip are part of that. You know Rip from high school. You've played against him here in the pros. How hard is he making you work on defense?
He's making me work. But, you know, then again, being a professional athlete, you know, if you're not in condition to run and play for 48 minutes, then you shouldn't be out there.
And what are they doing defensively that's making it tough for you guys to execute?
You know, we're just not familiar with what they're trying to do defensively. You know, it's a matter of us becoming more familiar with their tactics and their strategy, and then trying to adjust.
Kobe, thanks for stopping.
My pleasure.
Back it to you, Al.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. So 41-40, the Lakers on top at the half in the first game of the NBA Finals at Staples Center in Los Angeles. Coming up, the Verizon Wireless halftime report. Mike Tirico, Byron Scott, Tom Tolbert. We'll take a close look at the first half with the Lakers on top by 1.
This is the Verizon Wireless halftime report.
Game 1 of the finals, and Shaquille O'Neal has his most prolific scoring half of these 2004 playoffs. 20 points, half of Detroit's total, half the Lakers' total almost. 41-40, Los Angeles leads. Welcome with Byron Scott and Tom Tolbert. Mike Tirico, I'm going to come to you, Tom, right away and start with Shaq's dominance inside, because we talked about his great finals play and that he might not be able to do it against the Pistons. Thus far, he has.
He's been unbelievable, and where he's done his damage, and this has been the Lakers' best offensive set, if you can call it that, is his offensive rebounding. He has dominated the offensive boards for so far, and not just offensive rebounds.
We'll talk about that in a second. I want you to talk about Kobe.
Yeah, we're looking at Kobe right here just D'ing up Rip Hamilton. And I thought Kobe did a fantastic job of really taking that challenge. And that's what we talked about at the beginning of this show, is that this is what Kobe loves. He loves a challenge. He accepted that challenge and did an unbelievable job of shutting down their primary scorer, which is Rip Hamilton.
And that's why they haven't been able to get more than 40 points. And the Lakers, why they're scoring 41, are the easy hoops that Shaq is getting.
Yeah, can we just replay what I said like 20 seconds ago?
Go ahead, say it again.
It's been their best offensive set. I think I said that before. But not only has he got 4 offensive rebounds, he's scored on the offensive rebounds. I mean, he's made him pay. Right here, and this is, you're going to live with this. I mean, this is a fadeaway jump shot from Shaquille O'Neal. No problem with that one. But the other offensive rebounds, point-blank range, just grab it, lay it up. Then you're going to see another one where he just kind of finds this one. He's just in the area. Malone shoots it, misses it. He's just so big. You see Ben Wallace flying out of the picture. He gets it and lays it up. And I think Detroit is doing a fantastic job keeping Kobe away from the rim in the half court. He's got a couple breakaway layups on steals, and then with about 20 seconds left in the half, he got his first layup in the half court. They've done a good job there to keep doing that.
If you're worried for the Lakers, 9 points from the non-Shaq and Kobe players, nothing from Gary Payton and Karl Malone. Los Angeles leads by 1 at the break. Al had mentioned how great it would be to have a 7th game in the NBA Finals. We've only had 1 in the last 15 years. Knicks and Houston in '94. But as our series starts, the NHL series has Game 7 and concludes tomorrow night here on ABC. For a preview, let's send you down to Florida. John Saunders and Barry Melrose.
Mike, if you get a series like this one in the NBA, you're in for a great one. We are headed to a game number 7, and last night it looked like Calgary had won the game. Martin Jelena has the puck go off his skate. It looked like it crossed the goal line, but it was ruled no goal. So on to the second overtime where Martin St. Louis gets the game-winning goal. Brad Richards and Jerome McGinley have been the stars of these teams. The winner of the series is going to be the MVP.
Exactly, the Conn Smythe Trophy in the NHL. Again, has been the best player in the world for basically 2 months. He wasn't in Game 6. Brad Richards was the best player in the world in Game 6. 2 goals, and he was on the ice for the winning overtime goal, John.
It promises to be a tremendous one. The folks in Calgary, they call this the Red Mile. They thought they'd be celebrating last night after Game 6, but they have to wait for a Game 7. In Tampa, they watched from outside the Forum and cheered as Martin St. Louis gets the game-winning goal. And don't forget, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, we will have Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Mike, back to you.
John will be watching when we come back the emotional story of Karl Malone, the memory of his mom, some of the fuel in these finals.
And to be right here now and be the person I am now because of her, I can say, you know what? I get the energy from somewhere. I know I will, because she always did. So I'll be fine.
The Verizon Wireless Halftime Report, brought to you by Verizon Wireless, the only wireless provider that allows you to vote for the NBA Finals MVP.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Welcome back to the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report. So many of the Detroit Pistons experiencing the finals for the first time, including Ben Wallace, a goal 10 there. He only had 3 points, but 5 rebounds. His Pistons down 1 here at the half. Well, as we mentioned earlier, Karl Malone didn't score in the first half. 19 years in the NBA, and this very well could be his last year. His focus, trying to get a championship. He sacrificed millions of dollars in salary to be one piece of this Laker team. His focus for this year, from a couple of different special ladies in his life. The success of his daughter, a championship player for Detroit's team in the WNBA, and the loss of his mom this past summer. For more on Malone's emotional state heading to these finals, here's Al Michaels.
Well, Mom was always my strength and inspiration, but I always got energy from things my mom said, and that's what got me through difficult times. She was preparing me for whatever happened, be ready.
Carl's mother, Shirley, raised her 9 children in the Piney Woods environment of Summerfield, Louisiana. She was Carl's guiding light.
Well, our last conversation, after I saw with the Lakers, she said, are you happy? I said, yeah. She said, well, you know what? You should be. She said, and don't look back, and everything will work out just like it's supposed to work out. She always said, boy, I can tell when you're working hard, and I can tell when you're going through the motion. She said, don't let me turn that TV on and see that. And sometimes when I don't feel like got it, or I don't feel like, doing it, I think about that. And I get a little extra energy from somewhere. My mom used to tell me all the time, if anything worth having, it's going to be hard work to go with it. I just remember her quote, if it's easy, I don't want it. But I look in the mirror now and say, she did a hell of a job. And to be right here now and be the person I am now because of her, I could say, you know what? I get the energy from somewhere. I know I will, because she always did. So I'll be fine.
Karl Malone turns 41 next month. During a tumultuous year that may end up being his last in the NBA, Malone has had to find the balance between his quest for that elusive title and coping with the loss of his mother.
Other than her being here right now, I don't think I would want it any other way, in the way it's playing out right now. Part of me is lost from now on, and I'll never get it back. I'm not playing the game now to win a championship. It's part of me is playing to fill a void and playing because I still picture her there. And it's not a day go by that I don't think about her, and it's not a day go by I won't think about her.
And some of that strength and mentoring of his mom has been seen in the Karl Malone behind the scenes with these Lakers. If there's one person as a player who's kept this team together this year, it's Karl Malone. He's helped Kobe Bryant very well during a difficult season. Bryant with 12 points in his first half on 5 of 12 from the field. Lakers by 1 at the break. Al and Doc have half 2 for you after this.
This halftime report presented by Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you. The second half is next after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Al Michaels, Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya, Stuart Scott. Staples Center, the Lakers on top 41-40. Shaquille O'Neal with 20 points. Kobe Bryant has 12. And Doc, one of the things people were talking about coming into the series is Kobe Bryant, Rip Hamilton. And that's been pretty one-sided to this point, at least for the first half.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, and what they were talking about was if Kobe could guard Rip Hamilton, and he's done a terrific job. He has chased him all around the court. You know, we said it in the opening that Rip Hamilton fashions himself as the best conditioned athlete in basketball. And my point is, if he is number 1, then Kobe's 1A, because Kobe is a great athlete who is also in great condition, and he's done a terrific job. One area I think Rip has to do a better job is away from the ball. I think he's going to struggle in this series with the ball in his hand trying to score on Kobe. I do think he can score on Kobe off the ball.
41-40, the Lakers on top by 1. Here's Michelle.
Well, you know, guys, when Kobe Bryant came out of the locker room, he looked at me and said, Pistons, huh? Interesting. And I spoke with the coaching staff, Kurt Rambis in particular, who said Kobe's done a terrific job guarding Rip Hamilton. He said Kobe's long, he's strong, it's a team effort, but he's done a great job. He said we need to do a better job of handling their pressure. We have ways to get through it. We need to use those ways and handle their defensive pressure better. Now over to Stuart Scott, who is handling the Pistons.
I talked to Coach Larry Brown coming out of the locker room, and he said we got to keep Rasheed in the game without fouling. Rip Hamilton goes 1 for 6. We miss a lot of baskets. Rips has 5 turnovers, and we're still in this. I said, Coach, can you feel good about still being in it? He paused. He said, yes, but we got to keep Sheed in the game, guys.
Yeah, that's an interesting point because Wallace played only 8 minutes in the first half, so he was barely a factor. We talked about Hamilton, and yet here is Detroit. They've had to lead several times in the game, down by only 1.
Well, and you look at how the Lakers scored. You know, 23 of their 41 points were either second chance points or off the Pistons turnovers. So they haven't scored much at all in half-court offense.
And that's what Rasheed Wallace can do for you. So he starts the second half and drains a 3. Malone, who still has not scored, neither has Payton. And Gary turns it over.
You know, I look at the first half, and my first thought was when the Pistons see that first half and all the layups they missed, all the free throws they missed, and all the turnovers that they had, they're going to be really upset. Because watching that first half, the Pistons should have been up 10 to 12 points, and instead now they're only up 2.
And Gary Payton just committed his 4th foul. Phillips, cute little move underneath, and Detroit is up by 4.
You know, Larry Brown also made another great point at halftime. He said that they aren't used to getting wide open shots like they had in the first half. They're so used to the Eastern Conference basketball where every shot was contested. They have to get used again that they do have time to take some of these shots, and they'll make a higher percentage once they calm down and understand that they are open shots that they're getting now.
Every shot almost literally contested in the 6 games against the Indiana Pacers. 7 lead changes, 9 ties, and Detroit with the biggest lead in 5 as Kobe Bryant gracefully puts one in to make it a 2-point game. Phillips is their leading scorer. Chauncey with the ball has 13 points. Here's Hamilton over Bryant.
See, that's where he can get his shot off. And even there, Bryant was quick enough to come back and contest the shot.
Bryant gets by Rasheed Wallace, misses it, but then Wallace drops it out of bounds. Lakers with a fresh 24, 2 minutes into the 3rd quarter. Second game in this series is Tuesday night here. Then to Michigan for game 3. Kobe was long on that one. Wallace gets the rebound out in front to Hamilton, guarded by George, and drops it in softly. And Brown's team up by 4. Lakers undefeated at home in the playoffs, 9-0, but they've had some close calls, including the other night when they trailed in the second half to Minnesota as Bryant drives to the hoop.
Well, that's the second time now that Kobe Bryant in the second half has attacked the rim. I think his adjustment in the second half is going to be, okay, Tayshaun Prince, you're very long and you can test my shots, but you cannot keep me from driving around you, and that's what Kobe's going to try to do.
Prince outside to a wide-open Phillips, who hits it for 3.
You see there where Phillips called it out and took his time and took the shot.
Phillips, as you mentioned, such a key factor in this series. Probably what is in vogue now to call it the X factor.
That is in vogue.
That is very much in vogue. And I'll never forget as Bryant misses this one and the rebound goes to Wallace. What Greg Popovich told us the day of the Derek Fisher game at practice that morning. He said Derek Fisher is the X factor.
Yeah, I wonder if Pop wishes he had never said that. Yeah. The karma came back to get him.
It did.
You know, we talk about how dominant the Lakers are, and you bring that up. Without that shot, you probably aren't looking at the Lakers here. Without the great block of Tayshaun Prince, you're probably not looking at the Pistons here.
2 great blocks by Tayshaun Prince. One on Reggie Miller and the other one on Al Harrington in Game 6. Ben Wallace drops one.
That's gravy. Whenever Ben Wallace makes a shot from out there, that's gravy. But they want him to be aggressive, and I like what Larry Brown is doing with Ben Wallace. He's telling him, if you're open, make yourself a threat and take the shot.
5 points for him. And Gary Payton drops it. So that's a 3-pointer for Payton. The 7-point advantage was the largest of the game, and Payton makes it a 4-point game now with 8 minutes to go in the 3rd period.
And that was Payton's first bucket in this game.
Gary Payton playing with 4 personal fouls. The thing about Payton, as Prince drops one in, Phil Jackson will not take Payton out of the game in this situation because for the most part in the playoffs what has happened is that Derek Fisher and Kareem Rush play a lot of the 4th quarter and not Payton. In fact, Fisher and Rush each have more minutes in the 4th than does Gary, as Malone still doesn't have a point.
And Fisher has more minutes than everybody except for Kobe and Shaq. So you can tell, it's something that all coaches do. They trust guys they've been with for a long time, and Phil Jackson trusts Derek Fisher on the floor.
Prince short on the 2. Out of bounds it goes. Detroit. Piston ball. Fresh 24. And timeout taken by the Detroit Pistons. 7 minutes, 13 seconds remaining. 3rd quarter. Game 1. Pistons on top by a half dozen.
Copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the NBA.
The NBA Finals on ABC being brought to you by Miller. Vote Miller for President of Beers. Good call. By Nike. And by Radio Shack. You've got questions. We've got answers. Doc was talking about the Derek Fisher play. Who can forget that? I mean, this goes down in NBA lore in San Antonio after Tim Duncan had made an amazing shot with the clock stopping 4/10 after 2 timeouts. Payton found Fisher, and you know the rest. And then on the other side, as the Lakers exultantly flew home and won it in Game 6. This in Game 2, Reggie Miller would have tied the game in the final minute there, but Prince comes out of nowhere to block it. Pistons hold on, win the game to, in effect, seize home court advantage at that point as they left Indiana 1 game apiece. And 2 of the reasons, very clearly, why this is the matchup in the finals.
And again, role players. Those 2 plays were not made by the stars on either team. And, when you talk about the Detroit Pistons, if, let's say, they didn't win the title this year, it would be probably the first team since the Seattle Sonics that have won a title without, quote-unquote, a superstar. Yeah. So role players are significant in this league of stars.
That's a good point. And the one big guy they have came to him halfway through the season. Rasheed Wallace, more than halfway, actually. Prince. Here's Wallace again from outside. Big Ben not noted for offense. And, of course, with 2 on the timer. Now that one goes in. With 2 on the timer, it was Prince from the corner. 2-pointer, long 2. And then Billups collides with George, and the foul is on Chauncey.
I mean, this is just desperation, Al. I've always thought the freest time to shoot the ball is when there's 1 second on the shot clock because there's no other option.
And, Doc, he kissed it off the glass.
I don't think he was looking at it.
No, I don't think so either.
It's Sunday. The banks are closed.
7 on the 24. George puts it up from the corner. Prince with the rebound. Crowd getting nervous. Detroit up by 8. The Lakers have made this crowd nervous for 6 months. Hamilton has it knocked down by Bryant. O'Neal collects it.
Again, the length of Kobe Bryant is absolutely bothering Rip Hamilton.
George missed the jam. Back comes Billups. Ball out of bounds. Lakers will have it.
And that's a rare fast breakout.
Remaining. Yeah.
A rare fast break. But that's, Larry Brown told me he wants to do that more. Every shot contested by the Detroit Pistons, including dunks.
Wallace impeded it just enough. And it's against the Lakers. 3-second call here. Or no, it's a foul.
Yeah, they're saying that Shaquille O'Neal used his opposite arm to wave off Ben Wallace right there, and that's where the foul was. You know, it's so difficult, again, to referee a game because you don't know if a player's flopping or not with Shaq because Shaq is so strong.
That's third on Shaq. O'Neal the other night in the clincher against Minnesota had 4 in the first half, but Jackson just went with him and he didn't pick up his 5th until the 4th period. Kobe that night had 3 and had to spend a lot of the first half on the bench. Hamilton looked for the foul, doesn't get it. Bryant now gets doubled and gets fouled.
And more importantly, gets fouled by Rasheed Wallace.
She pleading his case to Joey Crawford as the Magic Man observes.
There's a look of concern on his face.
Pistons outscoring the Lakers by 9 in the period. Lakers led by 1 at the turn. And that's knocked away and stolen by Billups. And he'll reset. Big Ben. Fouled by George.
See, that's why you want Ben Wallace to be aggressive. You know, he's not a great offensive threat, but sometimes you can make yourself a threat, and by doing that, the least he does is draw a foul on another key player from the Lakers.
Stu or Scott? Next up, Stu.
Guys, I talked to Ben Wallace before the game. Everybody knows about the guy's defense, but he said he's been working on that 15-foot jump shot. And I said to him, well, can you hit it? And he said, you ain't seen it? You'll see it. He hasn't air balls a 15-footer, but he's also hit a 15-footer. And he said, here's the deal. Even if I miss the first couple of shots, because Shaq's going to give me that shot, I still got to keep taking it to make sure he comes out and D's me up, guys.
Did he check with Larry?
No, I can guarantee you that. You know, it's funny. He's going to keep taking it. And he can keep making it, but Shaq's still not coming out.
Underneath, Malone finally scores. So Karl Malone in a game that is 31 minutes old finally puts one in. 6-point game. Ben Wallace. And there's what Stewart was talking about.
Man, that's what I was talking about.
Sort of. Well, that was a 16-footer. Yeah. O'Neal. Slam dunk.
Larry Brown and the Detroit Pistons got to be very careful right now. Because you can feel the Lakers starting to get into this game.
When Nicholson gets up, you know. The Lakers are on the cusp. Billups would have counted.
I like that. I like what Billups just did. He could feel it. He could sense it. He decided he was going to try to take it on himself. But again, Shaquille O'Neal has gotten the ball deep all night, and that's the 3rd time the Pistons have tried to go for a steal and didn't get it. And here you see Chauncey Billups. He knows his team needs a bucket right now, and he takes it on himself, and now he gets to go to the foul line.
And that's the 5th foul on Gary Payton, so Fisher comes in. But again, it's not like, I mean, we know that Gary's going to go to the Hall of Fame and all of the rest, but it's a situation where the way the Lakers play with Fisher and Rush as the guys, and then Bryant moving to the small forward spot in the 4th quarter, it's not that big a deal.
No, it's not. The only difference is that in this series, Derek Fisher doesn't have the size of Gary Payton. So when you look out there, who's going to guard Billups? And I think that's a tough matchup for Fisher.
So Gary has to come out with 5. 6-point Detroit lead. Bryant to O'Neal. Another slam.
See, these are not the shots that Larry Brown wants to give to Shaquille O'Neal. Right now, he's getting wide open dunks. 3 or 4 of them have been on gambles.
24 points for O'Neal, 16 for Bryan. So the two big guys have 40. Billups all the way to the rim.
See, Billups likes this matchup, and you can see it. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kobe Bryant guarding Billups pretty soon, because Rip Hamilton is off the floor.
Bryant off the glass. So let me ask you this. In light of the fact I talked about how they use Payton and all of that, if you were Jackson, do you not then take him out with 4?
Yeah, you probably do in this case because of fouls. But, you know, Phil Jackson has done this all year.
Sure.
He had Shaquille O'Neal on the floor with 3 fouls in the second quarter against Minnesota. So he tries to make the players find their own way. And sometimes that hurts him. But more times than not, it gives his players confidence and responsibility.
After the Prince miss, 2 minutes remaining now in the third quarter.
I'll tell you, the Lakers have a great matchup on the other end with Kobe Bryant.
From the corner. Swatted out by Malone to Bryant. Bryant with Hunter on him, and now Prince picks him up. Shaquille back to Kobe after he sets the screen. George comes in and can't save it from going out of bounds and goes tumbling into the first row. 1.5 minutes remaining now in the third quarter in game 1. It's been tight all the way. Detroit leads by 4. And you're watching the NBA Finals on ABC Sports. A left and a right and a left and a right and a left and a right. Rocky. Sly Stallone. Lisa Leslie of the Sparks. The WNBA. Jeff Goldblum, possessor of a thunder stick. Meg Ryan is here. See, Doc, we don't read any press guys. We just read people.
No, we know.
To get ready for the game. And the governor.
The gov.
Here's Michelle.
Al, before the game, I asked Phil Jackson how he would characterize the importance of game 1. He said it's a critical game and extremely important. It puts a lot of pressure on the home team if they lose game 1. Jackson also said that the 7 days off was a factor coming into this game. He said, we may be out of rhythm, they may be out of rhythm. That time off is going to make us, take us out of sync. And Doc, would you agree with that at this point, that the time off might have affected either of these teams?
Well, I think it definitely will affect the Lakers more than Detroit. You know, the extra day of playing for Detroit, the later game, and the way that series was fought. I think Detroit's in better rhythm coming into this game than the Lakers are.
Eldon Campbell, as the 24 wound down, makes it a 6-point game. 1 minute to play. 5 for the former Laker. Kareem Rush and Slava Medvedenko come in to finish the third quarter for Los Angeles. Fisher contested by Hunter. Now Shaq has to come all the way out.
And all the way out is a great point. Look where the Lakers are starting their offense. And this is what's been happening all evening long. And this is why they're out of sync. It's not because it's bad offense. It's because it's the Detroit Pistons defense is stretching them out of the places they want to be.
And O'Neal got back underneath and couldn't handle Rush's pass. Medvedenko saves it. About an 8-second differential, and Hamilton went down and is just now getting up in backcourt as Kobe has that one blocked. And when Hamilton went down, it means that as he stayed down there, he's able to score, and he goes down hard again and is so frustrated. He's hurt. Yeah. He winds up kicking the ball, but no infraction.
Yeah, he was trying to kick the ball to give him some time to get off the floor.
Medvedenko into O'Neal now. 8-point lead. And Shaq banks it in. Lakers led by 1 at the half. Pistons will have the final shot in all likelihood here as Hunter picked up outside, and then Fisher commits the foul. Lakers had a foul to give.
Yeah, so it wasn't a big deal. You know, I think Fisher would have rather used another second. I'll tell you, that last shot by Shaquille O'Neal, that's the 3rd time he's made a shot similar. That's unguardable. You can drop any defense you want. And when he starts making shots and throwing jump hooks, that's unguardable.
26 for the big man. Hunter missing, and that'll do it for the first 36 minutes of this one. 12 to go in the fourth. In game one, the Pistons trying to come in here and steal the opener. Detroit 64 and Los Angeles 58. Fourth quarter coming up, and this presentation of the NBA Finals on ABC continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Hey, it's me, Gary Payton. You know I dream about being with you every night. I left behind my job, my friends. I even took a pay cut. And do you know what houses cost around here? And I did it all for you. The glove has got the love. Come with me, baby. Show me a sign.
I'm going to say this again, guys. Every extra pass you make, our shooting percentage goes off the charts. And we have a chance to offensive rebound the ball. All right? Hey, you got great shots, you got to shoot them. I'll let you shoot 16 shots in 15 minutes. I ain't going to be afraid of that.
What do you think, Doc?
Well, that's great coaching, you know, because Elton Campbell had hesitated on a couple of shots. Larry Brown saw that, so he used that timeout to give Elton Campbell confidence, and by doing that, that's huge.
You know, there's a guy, Bill Davidson, as under the radar as any owner. He's owned the Pistons for about 30 years. He shows up at a game in a windbreaker. It looks like one of those old members-only models, whether it's hockey or basketball, and this man will go to Tampa tomorrow to see if his Tampa Bay Lightning can win the Stanley Cup and then come back here and then go to Detroit. What a time for that 81-year-old.
It's pretty neat.
Man, Bill Davidson made his money in the glass business.
And just think of this, Al. If they do win the Tampa Bay Lightning, he will be able to bring the cup and sit it in the Detroit Pistons locker room before Game 2.
Well, that's a pair to draw to. I mean, in his home at some point over the summer, he could have the Stanley Cup and the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Owns the Pistons, owns the WNBA team, the Shaq. Karl Malone's daughter plays on that team, and Rush gets tied up in backcourt by Lindsey Hunter. Stewart.
Guys, the last time out, Larry Brown was going through the usual coaching X's and O's things that you wouldn't understand unless you had a dictionary. But at the very end, he got really emotional. He said, guys, we got to win the next 5 minutes. We got to win that and put it on them. After that, we play as a group. It doesn't matter who gets the layup or get the shot. Win the next 5 minutes, play as a group, take this thing home, guys.
Here's Medvedenko passing of a shot. Well, he knows he can come in and steal one, and when you're the visiting team, that's what you want to do.
Well, he did it with the Philadelphia 76ers, so Larry Brown has history.
And Rush tried to get it up and had that contested as the shot clock.
Great defense. And I'm going to tell you what you sense right now is the offense isn't getting better for either team, and it's because of both teams are playing pretty good defense. But the Detroit Pistons defense is starting to crank it up a little bit here.
This game has gone almost the opposite of what the guys who analyze games and the women who analyze games as well thought. The Pistons have the higher field goal percentage. The Lakers have the higher free throw percentage as Medvedenko fouls Wallace. And the Lakers have committed 8 more fouls than have the Pistons.
Well, there's a reason, because the Pistons are taking the Lakers off the dribble. They're attacking the basket. Larry Brown in the first quarter turned to his guys and said, listen, we can get any shot we want to. You remember that? He said the Lakers are playing no defense. So calm down. Let's keep taking the ball to the basket, and we'll get everything we want. Now, he knows on the other end, if they're going to get those shots and make them, that they're going to be a good defensive team because that's who they are.
A minute into the fourth quarter, Detroit up by 7.
And this is a big stretch for the Lakers because there is no Shaquille O'Neal on the floor.
On the left, Joe Dumars, so instrumental in the Pistons' success as the head of basketball operations and the president. You saw Rick Mahorn, one of the bad boys, who is the radio commentator, color commentator for the Pistons. Bryant finds a wide-open Fisher, who's short.
Again, 2 seconds on the shot clock when that shot was going up.
And that really works into Detroit's hands. As we said, Detroit trying to cut down on the Laker possessions from the corner. That doesn't drop from Prince, but that is good to make it 68-58.
You can sense the Pistons getting more confident as this game goes on.
Ben Wallace gives Detroit its biggest lead of the game, and now Hunter gets the rebound ahead to Prince. Bryant falls into him and knocks the ball out of bounds. Williamson coming back into the game, and Darvin Ham will come back in for Detroit.
And this is how Ben Wallace scores, by attacking the bucket. Not only a great defensive player, but obviously a great rebounder.
Ben Wallace with 7 points. Lakers have been behind 3 times in the playoffs at home in the fourth quarter and have won, but now down by 10 with under 10 to play. Hunter for 3, 13 points, and Jackson says that's enough for right now.
Well, you could sense it. You could feel the Detroit Pistons starting to turn the energy up here.
Well, if the Lakers are to win the championship, it's been full of drama for 6 months, so why not 2 more weeks? Down by 13. The crowd is stunned. 71-58, 9:47 left in the fourth. Back in the fourth quarter now, the McDonald's NBA Finals summary. Had the Pistons get here, beat the Bucks in 5, went to a 7th game and knocked off New Jersey, and then took the Pacers out in 6. Lakers beat the Rockets in 5, then were 2-0 down to the Spurs, came back and won the next 4, and then took Minnesota, the #1 seed in the West, out in 6 games. Lakers now down by 13, and Bryant starts the comeback with a 2-pointer here to make it a 71-60 game. That's the Lakers' first points in the fourth period.
Tayshaun Prince goes out of the game. Kobe Bryant gets an easy shot.
Williamson to Hamilton. Not free enough.
Well, I tell you, Kobe Bryant took his eyes off Rip Hamilton for a half a second, and when he turned back around, Rip was no longer there.
That's all he needed. Bryant. Darvin Ham is there. You know, when you look at Phil Jackson, Jackson is 44-4 in the playoffs, in the 48 playoff series, as you see Hamilton just getting free.
Yeah, and you saw Bryant turn his head. 44.
He's 44-4. He's won 9 titles. When he has home court advantage, he's 35-0 as Rush seeks a 3 and doesn't get it. And here comes Hamilton leading the break. Hunter puts it up, and it's out of bounds to the Lakers. Doc, when Jackson wins the first game in a playoff series, 38-0.
He's a pretty good coach.
Yes.
I mean, those numbers are so amazing. They're just dominant numbers.
Eight and a half left. They work inside again to O'Neal, and Shaq banks it in. So Shaquille O'Neal, who has scored 25 or more now in 20 straight finals games, tying Michael Jordan's mark, has 28 points tonight.
Yeah, and right now, it's been Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal all evening, and that's what the Pistons said it would be.
Williamson misses the jam, but Hamilton is there, has that one blocked. And then a whistle in backcourt as Bryant got free, but there's a foul.
And a great foul, because if they don't commit the foul, I think that was Darvin Ham. Really a big heads-up play by him, knowing that Kobe Bryant had already released for an easy 2 points. So in essence, the Pistons are taking away 2 points from the Lakers. Smart play.
Under 8 left. O'Neal starts to back in. before the shot.
So now we see Corliss Williamson guarding Shaq. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Corliss Williamson plays the 3. The reason he's on him is because of he's so short but strong. And a lot of people think the way to guard Shaq is by getting low to his legs. I don't think there is a way to guard Shaq.
Foul on Williamson. They reset the shot clock at 14. Bryant off balance. O'Neal is there. Gets the bounce. Back to single digits now. 9-point game.
I think Larry Brown is going to really watch this stretch here. He'll use a timeout just to slow the pace down if he has to.
Hamilton missed badly. Bryant. Joey Crawford whistling a foul here on Detroit.
I mean, this is the downside of putting a smaller guy on Shaquille O'Neal. A long rebound, he can just reach over you like he does and score. Shaq has been very active this evening.
Foul on Williamson is third. Ham goes out. Hunter goes out. Eldon Campbell into the game.
Now they're going to put Eldon Campbell on Shaq. So that's been the 5th guy this evening already that has guarded Shaquille O'Neal. I wouldn't be surprised to see the young rookie at some point.
Equal opportunity. Bryant. Would have been a 3. 7 minutes to go. Oh, and it's Kareem Rush nearly with the steal from Hamilton. And everybody in the front row getting up and giving Bob Delaney a piece of their mind.
Well, they're saying Kareem Rush was tripped. Now, again, that turnover was not caused by Kareem Rush. That turnover was caused by Kobe Bryant's ball pressure. Kobe Bryant is having a superstar day defensively for the Lakers.
Out of bounds to Detroit. Pistons by 9.
They want to know how many bombs have a wet buck for soldiers.
The NBA Finals on ABC, brought to you by Spider-Man 2. The story continues June 30th. Mountain Dew, the taste everyone's mad about. And the new Chevrolets, 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American revolution.
Great sports week on ABC. Tomorrow night, the 7th game of the Stanley Cup Finals. Will Calgary win it? Will Tampa Bay win it? It comes your way at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 Pacific, right here on ABC. And the rest of our series, Tuesday night here, Thursday night, Detroit. And then we're still in Auburn Hills in games 4 and 5. That's next Sunday and the following Tuesday. If a 6th game is needed, back here on Thursday night, the 17th. And then a game 7 would be 2 weeks from tonight. Herb Brown is Larry's older brother, longtime coach. In fact, people forget Herb Brown was the head coach of the Detroit Pistons in the mid-70s for 1 full season and parts of 2 others. So it's not just nepotism. And there are 2 kids in the Brown family, Herb and Larry. Their mom is still alive. She's 99 years old and watching in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the guys tell me has all of her faculties.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And both of these guys, Herb Brown has written books about basketball. Can you imagine the dinner table conversations?
A little bit of knowledge there as Prince whips one into the corner. And then Campbell from the elbow misses.
And Larry is upset because Eldon Campbell was wide open, and that's what he was talking about in that timeout. Take your open shot. He dribbled himself into a tough shot.
Malone. Kobe. 24 is at 6. Fisher gets it after Hamilton couldn't corral it. Can't get the drop. And Rasheed Wallace over to Hamilton. So now halfway through the period, and Detroit is up by 9.
You know, the difference between the Detroit Pistons and everyone else that the Lakers have played, if you get down to them, it's not so easy to come back on them because it's not easy to score them. I think the way the Lakers are going to have to score is by stopping the Pistons, forcing turnovers, and second shots.
Point well taken. Detroit and San Antonio tied for the fewest points allowed in the league this year. The Lakers are able to get by San Antonio, but now in jeopardy of losing game 1 to the Pistons. Shaquille got free enough.
And no help. You know, if you're one of the bigs for the Pistons, you have a tough series ahead of you. Because watching so far, when Larry Brown has decided is, we're just going to guard Shaq head up and try to stop these other guys.
Phillips lays it off for Campbell, and then he's fouled on the way to the hoop.
Again, the Detroit Pistons are attacking the basket, and that's how they're scoring points. I mean, this is the 20th time, it feels like, that one of the Pistons have gotten into the lane, drove help, and then been able to get to the bucket. That's what they're trying to do. Attack, attack, attack. They believe that they're more athletic than the Lakers are.
Foul on Rush was his 3rd. Here's Michelle.
Hey, Al, I spoke to Lakers assistant Kurt Rambis during the last time out. He said, nothing's changed. We're not moving the ball around. We're not reacting to their pressure. There's too much standing around, too much ball holding. Nothing's changed. Doc, what do you make of that?
Well, he's right, but the problem is the Detroit Pistons defense, they're not allowing them to move the ball. They're contesting every pass. And now you see a charging foul. So that's why it's so difficult to move on this basketball team.
That's 4 on Rush. We mentioned Payton already has 5, and Rush, who plays a lot of the 4th quarter, now has 4.
You know, some teams make offensive runs. The Detroit Pistons make defensive runs.
74-66, under 5 minutes now. 4th quarter, game 1. Phillips has it taken away by Fisher. Kobe. And as Kobe is so adept at doing, it's that fake, and then he gets the foul, and the foul here is on Prince.
Well, you have to honor the fake because he can shoot. You know, if that was a non-shooter making this ball fake, you wouldn't honor it. But because Kobe Bryant is such a great shooter, you have to honor it. He is so good with his footwork.
This is, believe it or not, the Lakers' first free throw attempt of the half. You can register to vote for the NBA Finals MVP by sending the text message NBA to the number 622 using your Verizon wireless phone or log on to NBA.com. Don't forget that, Doc.
I will not.
74-68, Lakers cut it to 6.
I tell you, it's the Pistons turnovers that have allowed the Lakers to stay in this game. That's the only reason right now that the Lakers are in this game.
14 of them for Detroit. And then a big 3 by Prince. I mean big.
That was big.
77-68. A little over 4 to play.
Look at this. One-on-one coverage.
Over Ben Wallace.
Yeah, they're going to live with that. What they're going to say is, Shaq, you have to make all those shots. We're going to try to stay in between you and the basket and make you shoot over top. But in the meantime, all those other guys aren't going to get shots.
Shaquille O'Neal is 13 of 16. That's 81%. The rest of the Lakers are 28% from the field. Here's Hamilton. The air ball taken down by O'Neal.
It's amazing. Rip Hamilton has struggled all night, and the Pistons are up 7.
Payton back in the game. Gary playing with 5 fouls. Bryant one-on-one with Prince. Shovels it underneath, and O'Neal can't handle it. But it's on the end line, and now timeout is called. Still Detroit's ball. Larry takes a 20. 3:22 remaining in regulation. Pistons by 7. 3 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Al Michaels, Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya, Stuart Scott. Game 1 in Los Angeles. Right back here Tuesday, and then it's on to Michigan. Games 3 and 4 and 5 if necessary at the Palace in Auburn Hills. 77-70 Detroit.
And watch a back cut or a lob. That's something Larry Brown loves doing out of timeouts.
He called the 20. Here's the play. Hamilton feeding Wallace. Free enough. Over Malone. 79-70. O'Neal and Bryant have combined for 56 points, and it's off Wallace out of bounds. 2:51 remaining in regulation. Timeout LA. 9-point game. ABC Sports, home of the NBA Finals.
Detroit by 9 before we head down for the final 2:51. Shaq and Kobe. Byron's got 56 of the Lakers 70. Do they need somebody else to step up in the last few minutes, or can they get back in the game with just those two guys?
Well, I really think they need somebody else. They need one other guy, Peyton or Karl Malone. One of those two guys really have to step up to get this team over the hump, because those two have done their job. Kobe and Shaq have done their job.
Two things for the Pistons in the last 2:51. Make your free throws. Don't turn the ball over. If you do those things, your defense is good enough. You can get out of here 1-0.
And Al, you mentioned it earlier. It was 3 years ago tonight that Larry Brown and the Sixers came in and got game 1 from the Lakers in the finals. Could be history repeating itself tonight.
He did that, Mike. He did it in overtime. That was the good part of the story. The bad part is the Lakers then won the next 4.
Yeah. But this is a different team. I really believe this. And you look at this Detroit Piston team. They are a terrific defensive team. And what they're saying again, Kobe, Shaq, you're going to have to beat us because we're going to guard the other guys on the floor.
Bryant gets tripled and then shoves it off to Fisher in the corner. Inside the Malone, and Karl now has 4 points.
That is a huge play.
Instead of a turnover, instead of it being 9 points and the Pistons with the ball, it's 7. 2.5 to go. Here's Billups. Big one.
See, Billups can get that shot all night. And they also know, Larry Brown knows, if Karl Malone decides to try to help, then Rasheed Wallace will get the shot. Billups has been the factor that he needed to be thus far in this game.
22 for Billups. The Pistons have 4 guys in double figures. The Lakers have been a 2-man scoring machine tonight. Nobody else has more than 5. That's George, and the Lakers turn it over with under 2 now to play. Prince. O'Neal gets the rebound. 1:42 remaining.
A great job by Detroit using clock. That's what they're doing now. They just need to burn clock.
And they've done a great job of that tonight. Larry Brown, very much like a football coach, who says we need to control the football for 40 minutes. Malone can't get it to drop. Rasheed Wallace gets the rebound, and that gets fouled by O'Neal.
You know what's interesting, Al? You can hear the fans telling the Lakers to shoot, shoot, shoot. The problem is it's tough to get a shot off. So when you get down to this Detroit Piston team, it's tough to come down there and throw shots up because the Piston team is not going to give you easy shots. So you're going to have to use the clock.
Here's Stuart Scott.
Alan, that last time out, Larry Brown was urging his team, use as much of the clock as possible. And there was 2:51 left in. He said, guys, all we have to do is win the next 3 minutes. He told them that 3 different times. Then he stood up and he started cheerleading. And he was cheerleading. And Corliss Williamson was cheerleading. And Lindsey Hunter was cheerleading. I was having a hard time figuring out who was cheerleading, who was coaching, guys.
Well, I think you do all those things when you do, Coach. You know, there's no saying in our league, if you win the first 3 minutes and the last 3 minutes of every quarter, you'll win most games. And that's exactly what Larry Brown has talked about. Coming out of the quarter, he said, let's win the first 5 minutes. Now he's saying, let's win the last 3.
I'll say everything but the megaphone and pom-poms. 11-point game. 83-72 Detroit. At the beginning of the game, Doc, we talked about how could Detroit win the game. You said the magic number is 85. They get 85 points. They can win the game. They have 83. Who do you like in the Travers Stakes in August?
Yeah, I'm thinking Smarty Jones right now. You know, I mean, it is amazing, though. The Pistons are a great defensive team, and we've said that all evening. And they believed in this series that they would be able to score. And their number is still 85, between 85 and 90. They believe if they can score that in every game, then they can go on their defense and trust their defense, and that's what they're doing this evening.
Meanwhile, the Lakers have lived on the precipice almost the entire season, and they've put themselves with a loss tonight in that same relative position because Detroit will, among other things, wrest home court advantage. Bryant from way outside. Bryant again. That's a three.
If it wasn't for second shots and turnovers, this would be a rout, and the Lakers would have about 55 points right now. And against a great offensive Laker team, that's amazing.
Wallace. Wow. And when your defensive dude puts in a two here, you know it's your night.
He told Stewart that he was going to keep shooting.
That 15-pointer, that 15-footer. Here's Rush again. Fisher underneath.
Even that was contested. And he missed that shot because he thought that Ben Wallace was going to jump. This is a terrific win.
If somebody told you O'Neal would get 34, Bryant would get 25, Rasheed Wallace would have foul trouble and not play very much in the first half, you'd be in Los Angeles, you'd be facing the vaunted Lakers, and you'd win by about a dozen. What were those odds?
Well, I like what Larry Brown decided to do. Kobe Bryant and Shaq, you score. We're going to defend you, but you can score. We're not going to help, but we're going to shut everybody else down. And that's exactly what the Detroit Pistons did. And now we're no longer talking about bad offense. We're talking about great Detroit Piston defense.
The Detroit Pistons have told the country, hey, by the way, we're here too. Here's Stewart.
Chauncey Billups, you led the Pistons in scoring both regular season games against the Lakers. You do it again this game. What is it about your game and their defense that gives you opportunities?
I mean, I'm just trying to be aggressive, you know, and we just try to put them in pick and rolls. We don't think they can stop us. We got shooters coming off pick and rolls, and then we got guys like Rasheed and Ben who can step out and hit that shot when they double me, so it's a tough cover.
If I had told you that Rip Hamilton would go 4 for 15 and you guys would win a game like this, what would you have told me before the game?
We'll be all right. We got other scorers. We got so many people that can score on this team. Some nights I'm going to be off. Some nights he is. Sometimes she is. We got other guys that can step up. So we all right when other guys don't score.
All right, John, congratulations. Rasheed Wallace, you hit the first three of the game, hit the first three of the second half. How frustrating was it for you to sit most of the first half?
It was killer, you know. But had guys on the bench that came up. B.I.G., Mimic came in there, did a good job. Eldon, you know, guys came in there and played. Corliss, D-Ham, and, you know, that's where it was at, our bench.
Shaq and Kobe both in double figures. Nobody else on the Lakers roster. How do you guys suffocate a team like that?
Well, it's not suffocating. You know, it's just effort. You know, those are great guys, like you just said, Shaq, Kobe. You know, we just got to make it harder for the other guys. We know they're going to get theirs, no matter if it's on the line or, you know, a couple shots or whatever. So we just got to make it harder on the other players.
All right, good luck in game two. Yeah. Al, back to you.
Thank you, Stuart. The Lakers have won 9 titles in L.A. On 4 of those occasions, they lost the first game, including most recently 3 years ago against Larry Brown's then 76ers. Doc, we may be here for a while.
Yeah, I think you better get comfortable, Al.
Yep, well, we'll get comfortable game 2 on Tuesday. ABC Sports Online at ESPN.com. Al Michaels, Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya, Stuart Scott, for our entire ABC crew saying good night from Los Angeles.
You're watching WXYZ 7. Now, Action News.
Now, boy, what a big win for the Pistons in L.A. tonight. The Lakers were confident, but the Pistons were hungry, and they walk away with Game 1. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Glenda Lewis.
And I'm Stephen Clark, in tonight for Dave Llewellyn, who, of course, is in Los Angeles. What a night for the Pistons at Staples Center. We have team coverage tonight, all the way from Motown to Tinseltown. Tonight, fans here in Detroit stayed up late to root for the home team, and What a game they got. We begin our Team 7 coverage with Mike Bowersock standing by in Royal Oak. Mike.
Hi, Stephen. We're just outside of the press box, one of those popular sports bars with dozens of television sets. In fact, I would bet they are watching us right now because since game time, all eyes have been glued to Channel 7. At a bar in Royal Oak, you would never guess it was a Sunday night. But it has been 14 years since Detroit has played for an NBA title.
They got so much heart out there. They've got nothing to lose.
Their heart, I honestly believe it's their heart. Their skill's awesome, but their heart is incredible.
Here, like other taverns in Southeast Michigan, nothing could be better for business.
With the Red Wings loss, the town was a little down. With the emergence of the Pistons in the playoffs, this is what we get.
No real superstars, but they're good, you know? They work harder than everybody else. Rebounding, defense, hard work. That's it. They're like a Detroit team, you know?
Okay, we are live. Take a look at the crowd. They're all enjoying themselves. So far, so good. And in Farmington Hills, it's pretty much the same story. Joe Mason is there live. Joe.
Mike, a lot of celebrating here out at Roosevelt's Bar in Farmington Hills. All across the city, people were trying to watch the game or trying to do anything to see it.
Go Pistons! Go Pistons like crazy!
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's a tough day working at Mamma Mia's Pizzeria in Redford while trying to watch the Pistons game at the same time. Just ask cook Doreen Fulia.
You got to be careful how you make the pizza. Don't burn the pizza. Make the perfect pizza. And you watch the game, what they doing over there, who score, what they doing. This stuff.
Ronnie Morgan never missed a second of the game on Channel 7. He better be watching Channel 7. He works at Channel 7 as the front gate security guard.
This is the first time I worked security where I can watch TV and watch the game at the same time.
A couple from 13, they're just on their way back.
Maternity nurse Anna Keel had the Pistons on her mind working with all those babies at Botsford Hospital in Farmington Hills.
It's been very difficult. I have to just multitask, keep my eye on the TV, keep my eye on the patient, and just keep watching the ball.
And bring in the babies.
That's right, that's right. Bring in some new Pistons fans.
And here is one of those new fans, Alexis Redmond.
She came just in time. She knew that the game was on tonight at 8:30.
Her parents say she came into the world 2 weeks early just to watch Game 1. And we think Alexis is the good luck charm that will lead the Pistons to a world championship. Live in Farmington Hills, Joe Mason, Channel 7 Action News.
All right, Joe, Mike Bowersock, also thank you both. We all in Detroit feel close to the Pistons right now, but guess what? Dave Llewellyn is close to the Pistons. He's at the Staples Center live right now. Now, that was some game, huh, Dave?
Oh, Stephen, it was just terrific. Pistons played great basketball, win Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Rip Hamilton joining me now live, and was it as much fun as it looked?
Oh, yeah, it was very exciting, man. We came out, we did what we wanted to do, we defended them. You know, they're a great team, you know, we just got to, you know, keep trying to put the pressure on like we did on the defensive end.
Well, and offensively, I don't know if it was easier than in some series past, but you got some good looks. This team did, scored some points.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of times when I was coming off the screens, they was really trying to focus on me coming off the screens. But I give credit to my teammates. They did an excellent job. You know, Tate stepped up, Sean stepped up, Rashid and Ben. You know, it was a total team effort tonight, and we just got to continue to play that well.
Well, and Chauncey, too, with 22 points. I mean, hit some big shots and was looking for his shot.
Oh, yeah, he got to be aggressive. You know, the one thing that Chauncey did tonight, he stayed aggressive, passed when he had to pass, shoot when he had to shoot, and did a great job of leading us.
You know, everybody talks about when you start on the road, hey, steal one, you know, take home court away. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, but, you know, they're a great team, like I said. You know, we got to figure out a way to come out and do the same thing the day after tomorrow. You know, we came in and got the first one, but we know they're going to come ready, but we got to continue to play the way we played tonight.
You caused all kinds of problems for them defensively, though, with the pressure, I mean, up and down the court and even down low, packed in.
That just let everybody know how deep of a team we are. You know, guys did an excellent job of stepping up and made shots when they was called on, and everybody did a great job.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Rip Hamilton.
Yes, sir.
Helping the Pistons win Game 1 of the NBA Finals, defeating the Los Angeles Lakers at the Staples Center, 87-75. We'll come back, have much more of the post-game story from here at the Staples Center in just a few minutes in sports. For now, I'm Dave Llewellyn, live in Los Angeles. Stephen, Glenda, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Dave. Great game. The city and fans got ready for today's game with an unusual ceremony that could only happen in Detroit. The Spirit of Detroit statue downtown got its own Pistons jersey, which took 500 square feet of polyester to make. Fans, including Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, turned out to take pictures as the statue was dressed. The jersey is similar to the one the statue wore during the Red Wings' time, Stanley Cup a few years ago.
We've been waiting 14 years for this, and it's nice to bring my kids and start a new generation of Pistons, new generation of bad boys.
The jersey cost about $8,000, and the Pistons will pick up the tab.
Of course, Pistons fans are excited about a good series between these two teams, but there are some rather cocky Laker fans we found in California who think their team has it in the bag. We found some overconfident Laker lovers along Venice Beach who didn't need a whole lot of coaxing to give their prediction for the series.
Lakers sweep.
Lakers sweep. Pistons won't even win one, huh?
Shouldn't.
I don't give the East, anybody out of the East much of a chance.
Our team is good, and, you know, we have all the best players.
I think it's a little late for that sweep thing already, huh? This game should have taught the Laker lovers that the Pistons are a force to be reckoned with.
Well, we wanted to know who is the biggest Pistons fan in Detroit, and you sent in pictures to plead your case, so here's a look at some of our favorites. James Tobin sent us this shot of him and his friends decked out in paint at a game, posing with fellow Pistons fans, Tommy the Hitman Hearns. And the McCain family of Detroit dressed up in their Pistons gear for this family photo. And Kim and Larry Grefka of Livonia sent us this picture of their 3-month-old son dribbling some little drool on a tiny plush basketball. You can still send us your pictures by logging on to our website at WXYZ.com.
That's what you call a double dribble. When Pistons fans Amy and Dion Pabst picked their wedding day, they really weren't thinking about the championship schedule. But today, while the couple was supposed to be thinking of nothing but each other, a little part of them couldn't help but think about the Pistons' big game tonight. So they danced and toasted and celebrated tonight, but they made sure they were all done in time for the tip-off.
Everything was nice and smooth, and it turned out perfect.
Are you hoping the same for the Pistons tonight?
We certainly are. We're wrapping this up at 8 o'clock so we can all get home by 9 o'clock for the game.
I had to ask.
Hey, everybody's off to a good start tonight. Yeah, we're pretty sure Amy and Dion's guests were pretty happy the couple made some accommodations for game time. Otherwise, there probably would have been a lot of little portable TVs hidden under the tablecloths at the party. There were some Pistons fans trying to hold their own among all the screaming Laker fans tonight. And Action News reporter Ray Saya went in search of the Pistons fans. Ray joins us now live from the Staples Center with more. Hi, Ray.
Before the fans, we're going to talk to a star. The Pistons win Game 1 thanks to the usual combination of hustle and tough defense, and one of the people who showed up as usual, Ben Wallace. A lot of hype surrounding the Lakers. A lot of people thought they were going to walk all over you. You came in there and you showed them you're going to be a force to reckon with this series.
Yeah, you know, this is the finals. Anything can happen, just as long as we just come out and continue to play hard and be aggressive. You know we got our hands full, you know, against this Lakers team, but we just got to come out and play hard every night.
It's still early. A couple of years ago, Larry Brown with the Sixers did the same thing. Came here and won Game 1. Do you think, having had experienced that, it'll work to your benefit, work to your advantage, knowing not to be complacent with a win under your belt?
Anytime you can win, win a game and go up one, it usually works in your advantage. You know, but you just got to continue to do the things that you did in Game 1. You know, like you said, not get complacent and realize who you're playing against. That, you know, playing against a great Lakers team that capable of coming at you in many different ways. You just got to be ready.
Clearly, this is a big win, but we noticed that you guys didn't celebrate too much. Is that sending a message that there's work to be done and you're going to get it done?
We still got a lot of work to be done. You know, one game never won a series.
All right, go celebrate. Ben Wallace, one of the stars of the game. Again, a lot of hype surrounding this game today. And hype is a dangerous thing because sometimes it could sound good, but it can mean nothing. The Pistons showed today that hype doesn't win basketball games. And one of the reasons that the Pistons did well today, some of these guys, some Pistons fans all the way from Detroit. What's your name? Where you from?
Derek Neer, South Lyon, Michigan. Go
What's your name? Where you from?
John Toy, Westland, Michigan.
You guys are fearless. You weren't afraid to wear those colors tonight. How was it in the stand?
It was tough.
Nice.
It was brutal up there. I won $20 from the guy in front of me. That we were down 9, or up 9, I mean. He bet me $20. I said, anyone else want that bet in this section? They took it. I won some money for us.
Laker fans came in here confident. They had a skip to their step, but you can tell as the game was progressing, their smiles were disappearing. How did that feel, watching them quiet down as the game went on?
Oh, it was good. The fans up there, they were very respectful.
Very.
We did, once the Pistons started taking over, we saw the defense happening. We knew it was going to happen. We were in Indiana last week. We knew it was going to happen, but the look on their face was, we liked it.
We've seen it all year long. We toned it down. We knew it was going to happen. We knew the outcome.
They showed up for game one. They're going to show up for game two, and so will the Pistons. Pistons with a big game tonight, winning it on the road. They're up 1-0 in the NBA Finals. Live at the Staples Center, Ray Saya, Channel 7 Action News. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Ray. And you can win free tickets to the hottest game in town when the Pistons bring the Lakers home to the Palace for Game 3. Action News is teaming up with Rock Financial to give you that chance. You can enter to win on our website at WXYZ.com. We'll announce the winner Thursday on Action News this morning, beginning at 5 a.m. You can only see the NBA Finals right here on Channel 7. Our coverage of Game 2 begins Tuesday night at 8 o'clock with the Rock Financial Pistons Game Day show with live reports from L.A., so keep it right here on 7.
Okay, we'll be back to the Pistons here shortly. There is other news to talk about today, and we'll be right back with that.
Stay with us.
Fear the Fro! 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 Fear the Fro!
Before and after the game, it's the Rock Financial Pistons Game Day with Don Shane and Piston legend Chuck Daly. Watch Tuesday starting at 8 only on 7.
Enjoyable game, enjoyable game. A Hollywood script it wasn't, but it played like sweet Motown music as the Pistons take Game 1 of the NBA Finals, 87-75, shocking the Lakers and their fans, to say nothing of the rest of the basketball world. Rashid tried to tell those who would listen about what the Pistons were about going into this one, and what better way to show it than throwing in an opening triple. Pistons also talked about not putting too many extra bodies on Shaq, and he made the most of it. 20 points in the first half, 34 in the game. Chauncey, with a miss on the two-pointer, gets another try, this time from three-point land, drains it. 22 for him. The Lakers would lead at 41-40 at the break. Thanks to shots like the hook by Shaq. Come on. Well, one like that deserves another from the Pistons. Tayshaun provides, finding the bank open on Sunday. Pistons would lead it by 6 after 3, 64-58. Ben with the block to Tayshaun to rip. Looked like he was hurt, but he plays on. But he's okay, and so are the Pistons. And the writing was on the wall for the Lakers. When Lindsey buries the 3, they would open up a 13-point lead. Still, Game 1, 87-75.
You know, to hold them to 75 points, I think is pretty incredible defensive performance. And then we got in early foul trouble. Rashid plays, 8 minutes the first half, and Rip struggled, but we played great. I don't know if we could ever defend better.
75 points, that, is not very much for any team, especially the L.A. Lakers. But let us not forget, it's only one game. But what a way to start.
Our boys did it, and they were bad at it.
Yeah, they're our boys now.
All right, thank you, Jay. A lot more after the show tonight, right?
Right, absolutely, with Coach Chuck Daly.
All right, great, thanks.
We'll be right back.
Stay with us.
Channel 7's Rock Financial Pistons Game Day is brought to you in part by Rock Financial, the mortgage experts. By Wallside Windows, most preferred, most referred. By the Metro Detroit Ford dealers, think Ford first. And by McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Well, they say things usually start out west and make their way east, so be sure those moans and groans you hear originated out in La La Land, where the Lakers faithful are trying to understand what just happened. We have an expert here to help you on the Pistons postgame show. As former head coach Chuck Daly joins us to explain why the Pistons were able to not only win by 12, but hold those Lakers to just 75 points in the process and win it 80-70-75, Coach.
You know, the question is, can the Lakers stop a sweep?
Wow. Wow.
You know, in reality, I'm not sure, based on the game tonight, where they can handle the Pistons. Because the Pistons not only played great defensively, rebounded ball, stat-wise, I always I go down the stats, but I look at one stat, and that's assists. 15 for LA, 19 for Detroit, +4. And they were +4 in shooting percentage, free throws, and every other phase of the game.
Was it the Pistons' D, or was it the lackluster play of the Lakers, or some of both?
Well, I think the Lakers, and they talked about having so many days off. I think they were flat, no question about it. But more importantly, I think Larry Brown hit it on the head in the huddle early in the game. He said, we can get any shot we want, and they can. And we talked about earlier, pick and roll. They just got wide open shots, and they've got enough good shooters that they've got a lot of problems facing them to come back in the second game.
Yeah, they look to be out of it as the Pistons really took it to them. Tayshaun, yeah, with a lucky shot, but Shaq had a lucky shot. But the Pistons, in fact, and I kind of agree with you, we may be jumping the gun, I might say, about this sweep thing.
I know.
But with the way the Pistons put it on them, and if they come, I think they can play better. We know LA can play better, but I always wonder about that defense. And when you have a defense on you like that, how are you going to perform?
Well, when you play defense, it's been proven in every professional sport or every sport, the defensive team wins, and they're a better defensive club. What I noticed tonight is not only the pick and roll was a guy coming open, but there were no rotation to him. You know, and we didn't talk about Malone and Payton, two guys who are talking about getting their first ring, and that's the reason they went there. I couldn't find them tonight. Maybe they'll show up later, and maybe they weren't part of the action, but they just weren't in the game.
And there, Larry Brown talked prior to the game about Shaq, and we're not going to double him, triple him too much, and we're going to let them do their thing and let Kobe do his thing. Made it a little tough on Kobe, but Shaq gets his 35, Kobe is 25, and it's hard for two to beat 5.
Yeah, it is. They just got no help from their bench scoring. Actually, the difference was only 19 plus 5, 19 to 14. But I don't know. The overall actions of the Pistons. Maybe we saw the finals last week up here in the Palace against the Pacers.
Isn't that strange? But we are reminded now that the last time Brown was against the Lakers,
with Philadelphia,
they win the first one and get swept. So you have to be careful.
Well, I have to think it's going to be a better series than this, and I think LA is in a must-win situation now, for sure, right, on Tuesday night.
We've got Dave Llewellyn standing by live. Dave, who do you have, and your thoughts on this one?
Got Darvin Ham with me. We'll talk with Darvin first. One of the guys coming off the bench, running at Kobe and doing a job defensively, as this entire Pistons team did tonight, and that's what you need to do throughout this series.
Oh, definitely. That's the way we've been getting it done. That's the reason why we're at this point right now. Just, you know, our foundation is defending the ball, rebounding it, and sharing it.
Well, and, hey, mission accomplished tonight in that regard.
Definitely. You know, we're trying to come out in these playoffs and play each game like it's our last game, and just taking it one possession at a time.
All right. Shaq got his points, Kobe got his points, but you guys kept the bench guys, Chuck Daly mentioned it, kept the bench from hurting you.
Oh, yeah, they're a dangerous team when those two guys are rolling, Shaq and Kobe, but they're lethal when their role players are stepping up and making shots. We know we're not going to be able to completely shut out those two, so we just want to try to make it, you know, off-balance night for them and try to force these other guys to beat us.
All right, to win game one, what's the reaction in the locker room among the guys? Obviously happy, excited about first game success.
It's calm and cool, but, you know, there's really no home court advantage in the playoffs. You know, each team has to go out and win a victory, have a victory on the road. So we're just taking it one stride at a time, man, just ready to come out and focus on game two and see what we can do better.
All right, Darvin, congratulations.
Thank you.
Darvin Ham, off the bench tonight, helping the Pistons defensively. He was on Kobe for some of the time. Another guy who did a job defensively and offensively with 14 points tonight, Rasheed Wallace. Here's what Rasheed had to say following this Pistons game one victory.
We're excited or whatever, but we can't get too excited. It's only one game. You know, it's a race to 4. So we can't sit up here and get overzealous over one win. You know, that's how teams lose. That's how you go out there that second game playing lackadaisical and everything, and you lose and fall apart. So we're just taking it one game at a time. I mean, you just got to play. You know, you can't think of it like, oh, it's the finals or whatever. You know, we're excited because it's our majority of the guys' first trip here. But like I said, we still got to play. You know, we're not happy just to be here. You know, like some people would be. Everyone in that locker room is hungry. And, you know, before the game, it's you joke around or whatever, but once that ball go up, you know, it's all business.
Right here in the middle.
Rasheed Wallace, 14 points and 8 rebounds tonight. He helped do the job. Chauncey Billups hitting some big shots as well. He had 22 points. We're going to come back here to the Staples Center shortly, have more of our post-game story. But the Pistons off to a good start, a very good start indeed in Game 1. Jay?
All right, no question about it, Davey. And, Coach, one other indication to show the 2 against 5 theory here. 4 of the Pistons starters are in double figures. They are just 1 point away, Ben, scoring 9, so you truly have that 5 against 2.
Yeah, they had a much better game offensively, and I think that was a breakdown defensively. And, you know, we haven't really talked about some other aspects of the game. The Pistons had too many turnovers, by far, and some unforced ones. Secondly, I thought they were able to run the ball, and they didn't do that. I think they can beat this club in transition if they really want to, because this club is not getting back from what I saw tonight.
Okay, we'll show you what that's all about when we return here on the Pistons Game Day post-game. Stay with us.
Tuesday at 8, it's Pistons pre-game day. Chuck Daly joins Don Shane for the Inside Story, followed by the game. Then it's action news and post-game day with the best highlights. The Rock Financial Pistons Game Day, starting Tuesday at 8, only on...
Thank you, Detroit, for making Andiamo the #1 Italian restaurant in Metro Detroit. Andiamo was voted #1 by Gourmet Magazine and Our Magazine. Congratulations to the Eastern Conference champions, the Detroit Pistons.
Puts a lot of pressure on us for next game. You know, this is the type of team that they come out, they play aggressive defense, they play well. They just wanted it a little bit more than we wanted it tonight. Tonight we just came out a little bit too loose, too lackadaisical. You know, we were trying to fill them out in the first half, and we got ourselves into a big hole with our lackadaisical play in the third quarter.
Well, he's telling the truth, or certainly sounds like it. It certainly looked like it.
It sure did. But, you know, sometimes you read everything and you believe it.
Even as pros.
Yes, that happened to us when we went to Portland. I was very upset. We had lost 1 out of 2, given up the home court advantage. And we hadn't won out there in 17 years, this franchise. And we went out there and win 3 straight. But I knew that they would get home, and they were believing everything that was being written, that we had no chance. And for some strange reason, pro athletes, as good as they are, succumb to the same thing.
They're still human.
They're human.
Real joy to be here with you, because I get to pick your brain and see how you're working, your mind. You talked earlier about the transition situation, and it really could have been a blowout.
Yeah, I think it could have been much greater. They had opportunities. They've got some easy leak-out opportunities, missed a couple of them. But I think anytime they get the ball, if they could start pushing it, that they could beat this club in transition, because it didn't look to me like they were balanced and getting back well.
Hard to explain. Now, also on the defensive end, how do you feel about zone defenses? Of course, you guys never played it illegally,
right,
and it wasn't legal, so I don't know what it was. But anyway, how do you feel about zone defense?
Well, I think if you can use it, it's a great changeup. And Larry used it 2 or 3 times tonight. Then they matched up out of it, and they didn't take advantage of it or get the outside shot. I noted that after the game, Phil Jackson indicated they would not play any zone because they were afraid of the three-point shot of the Pistons. However, it's a weapon, and I think Larry could use it from time to time, even almost like a box and one on Kobe Bryant.
All right, let's travel back out to L.A. Dave Llewellyn standing by. Dave, take it away.
All right, Jay, thank you very much. We're joined by Corliss Williamson now following the Pistons win in Game 1. You spent some time bumping with Shaq into Game 2. I don't know if that's the thing you'll remember most about this, probably the victory.
The victory was great. I probably felt like a mosquito bumping into Shaq to him, but we're very happy with this win, and we're looking forward to Game 2.
He is a mountain of a man, no question. By design, are you going to be checking him some?
Yes, I'm going to check him. We've got 6 guys on our bench who at some point in time during the series are going to have to step out and guard Shaq. And as long as we're up for the challenge, I think we'll be able to do a good job.
Well, and certainly did tonight, and that's the key to the victory here.
Yes, it was. I think Shaq had a great game. He shot the ball well from the field and from the free throw line, but we did a good job of defending the other players, and that's what you got to do against the Lakers. You got to make the other players on the team beat you.
You got some shots tonight, this team I'm talking about, maybe easier than in the previous series. Did you expect that you might get some easier shots?
Well, we feel like Indiana was the toughest team that we were going to play defensively. They like to grind the game out, make it a slow-paced game, and we felt like if we can get the Lakers in, kind of the open court and some pick and rolls, and we can get some easy shots, and we were able to do that tonight.
Do you think the Lakers took you guys for granted in any way, shape, or form?
I hope not. Well, we know now they're not going to take us for granted anymore. They're going to come out and be very aggressive in Game 2, so we have to be prepared for that.
And you have to expect that from the very beginning on Tuesday night.
Oh, yeah. We know at the beginning of the game they're going to be pumped up. The fans are going to be behind them, and we have to be able to withstand whatever run they make early in the game and try to fight back from that.
Congratulations tonight, Corliss.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Corliss Williamson helping the Pistons to this Game 1 victory. We heard from Shaq a little bit earlier. How about Kobe? His reaction. He had 24 points tonight in the Lakers' loss. His reaction to his team's defeat in this NBA Finals opener.
I think Detroit did a great job defensively, mixing up their defenses and really not letting them get off. In the past few series, we've been able to rely on throwing the ball into Shaq. And teams come down and double, and he's able to kick it out and get other guys involved that way. With this series, we have to go deeper into our offense. It was a matter of us getting a feel for what they try to do defensively and sizing them up, getting their rhythm. They did an incredible job executing. Larry Brown prepared them extremely well, and they came out and carried out their game plan to perfection. And it was a good game played by them, for 48 minutes.
Game 2 should be very, very interesting. And, Chuck, I've got a question for you in regards to preparation now. You're the Pistons head coach. You win Game 1 in here at the Staples Center when you're the underdog. What is the approach as a coach that you have to take to make sure that your team is ready to face the onslaught, which is inevitable from the Lakers on Tuesday night?
Well, I think you've got to look at this game and find out where you can get even better opportunities, either running-wise or in the set offense. And beyond that, you've got to try to play some kind of checkmate game and say, what are they going to do to change up? And my feeling is that it's probably going to be Kobe. They're probably going to isolate him a little bit more and allow him to try to get penetration and kick to get some easy shots. Other than that, they've got to get more people involved. Kobe said it right. Their offense must go much deeper. They can't just throw it in because they're going to let Shaq do his thing, play his game. If he gets 34, they don't think they can beat him.
And here's the thing. Kobe ends up taking 27 shots, only hits 10. Shaq with a 16, 13 out of 16, but again, 2 against 5 situation. Tayshaun Prince had a pretty good game, 5 of 10 from the field, 11 points. I understand that he's approaching you on the court, Davey Lou?
Yeah, Tayshaun is right here. Hit some big threes, some big outside shots today in addition to the defense, which was job number 1 by this team tonight.
Oh, definitely. We got to really come out and, put pressure on them and really make our defense make plays. That's how we play, and obviously, our defense is what make us win, so we got to come out and, do those things.
Tayshaun, how special is this coming home to play in the NBA Finals and win in Game 1?
Oh, it's definitely special. Playing against a great basketball team who's been to the finals, so many times in the last 5-6 years. So, it feels good. And obviously, we got to come in here and play the way we did today. They're going to bounce back, but we got to get adjusted and be ready for what they come at us with.
You hit some shots, and you shot with confidence tonight. Some might have wondered whether you would be able to do that, given some of the struggles offensively that you've had throughout some of these playoffs.
For the most part, you got to give a lot of credit to Rip, who really got us in the Florida offense throughout the whole playoffs. You know, he didn't shoot the ball well tonight, but a lot of attention was brought to him and kind of opened up things for everybody else. So we definitely got to be ready to shoot the basketball. You know, the offense is going to be flowing to where we moving and being patient, so everybody got to be ready to make plays.
And Chauncey was aggressive tonight, looking for his shot and making his shot.
Oh, definitely. We need Chauncey, you know, most importantly than anybody, because he's our floor leader. He's our point guard. He's got to make plays for us, but at the same time, he's got to score. So he's got a lot of responsibilities. But most importantly, the defense is what's going to make it happen.
You have a celebration at your high school tomorrow. You're going to go back. That's going to be one more special thing for you on this trip home.
Oh, definitely. You know, I haven't been back in a while, so you know, it'll be a good feeling, not just for me, but for the fans and, you know, for all the students that's there. So you know, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, with a big smile on your face walking into that school tomorrow.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, not just because we won this basketball game, but just for the point that we got to where we want to be, NBA Finals, and you know, obviously just winning this one game hasn't accomplished nothing yet. So, but game 2 is going to be definitely important for us to come out and play the same way.
Plenty of work still to do. Tayshaun,
definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty, Tayshaun Prince with a big night tonight for the Pistons, as this Pistons team does the job in the game 1. Came in as underdogs in the series, no question. Lakers trying to win 4th title in the last 5 years, but the Pistons get off to the great start. They win game 1, and be interesting to see what happens now, what unfolds in game 2. That's a story from here. For now, Jay and the coach, send it back to you.
All right. Game 2 will be interesting. We'll talk about that and a little bit more on this one right after it's time out. Back in a moment. All right, talking Pistons game 1. I like Larry Brown's idea with Shaq. It was pretty obvious that he wasn't going to beat him, and that's kind of surprising to say.
Yeah, he had a very good game. They went to him, and Larry halved him, what we call half. He didn't really double. He wasn't concerned about fronting him, but he stayed home pretty much than other people. And I found over the years that we were really successful when we could stay home and stay one-on-one and every guy, not double. Because when you start doubling, he kicks out. Then you get an open shot, you get penetration and a kick and an open shot. So I think if they can continue to play this way and these other people don't show up, then, you know, the Pistons are going to be tough to handle in this series.
You would be leery of Gary Payton.
Gary Payton scares me a little bit, and I think Bryant's got to play a better game and do some more things. Might go to a post-up, might go, they might go a little more pick and roll with Gary Payton. Gary Payton might go to some post-up. They've got to do some other things offensively. All they did is throw the ball into the post, and I think Kobe said it earlier, in other series they've been able to get the double team, a triple team, and wide open shots. They're not getting it in this series thus far.
Do you worry about now the Pistons' reaction, although they're saying everything the right way?
Yeah, I worry about it. You know, it's one thing to say it, and they are saying all the right things. They've been schooled properly, but it's one thing to say it. Are we going to get too comfortable? Because I think they need to push this club in every game, win or lose, if they want to win the series. And I honestly think they can get the second game.
Very interesting, very interesting. And especially, here's what I'm kind of puzzled about. What do you do about Shaq? I mean, the next game, if you feed him more, he scores more, but yet that's not the formula. So if you're Phil, what would you do?
I think they'll have some conversations with some of the players. I think Kobe, they got to throw it into the post, but they've got to run more of their offense. The offense ended on one pass almost exclusively. I think that's fine if he's going to get that many shots, but other people have to be able to get shots out of it.
All right, well, a look at Shaq and him doing his thing and that hook. Please give me a break. Speaking of breaks, I think we'll take one. Back in a moment.
Channel 7's Rock Financial Pistons Game Day has been brought to you in part by Rock Financial, the mortgage experts. By Wallside Windows, most preferred, most referred. By the Metro Detroit Ford dealers, think Ford first. And by McDonald's, I'm loving it.
And before we wrap it up, let's head back out to L.A. where Dave Llewellyn is standing by once again. Dave?
All right, Jay, Chauncey Billups had a big game tonight, hit 8 of 14 from the field, 22 points, and you know he's had some difficulty with his offensive game throughout some of the playoffs, but played very, very well tonight. And how about Lindsey Hunter? Hit a big 3 in the 7-0 run that the Pistons had in starting the fourth quarter as they really took control of this basketball game. Lindsey's the only guy on this Pistons team with a championship ring. Won it with the Lakers a couple of years ago. Here's Lindsey and Chauncey following this Game 1 victory.
Our main focus is to play Piston basketball. That's hard-nosed defense, share the ball, play as a unit. And if we do that, we feel like we can play with anybody. We feel like we rightfully so deserve to be here.
It's unbelievable, man. The feeling that we have right now, but it's no time to dwell on that. We got a long, long series ahead of us, but we came in here, to try to win Game 1, and we've done that. And we got to come in tomorrow, and there's some things that we still need to, execute better and do better. And we got to come in tomorrow and start worrying about Game 2. But no, I thought we did a great job of taking care of business.
Yes, they did, and the Lakers were 9-0 at home in the playoffs before tonight, so it's a big win all the way around, keyed by defense and effort. A couple of examples of that as we saw in the game. Chauncey going into the seats, chasing a loose ball, and how about Tayshaun as well, down low, stealing the ball from Shaq late in the game. Pistons with a tremendous effort in Game 1. They win it, and now we'll see what they can do in Game 2 on Tuesday night. Should be fun as well. That's the story from here at the Staples Center. I'm Dave Llewellyn, Channel 7 Sports.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. Coach, we got about a minute. Your thoughts on Game 2?
Well, the Lakers have got to come alive, and they've got to play easily their most inspired game of the year because they can't possibly go down 2-0. However, they've got to shore up a lot in order to accomplish that. One, they've got to do something about the pick and roll, and the inadvertent ones are the ones that are causing them problems because they're not reacting to the open guy and they're not rotating to him. So I think the Pistons are going to look at that film and say, we got to run more pick and roll. And the second thing is that the Lakers are going to, I think they're going to look to run more. They're going to have to defend much harder. They're going to have to get Payton and Malone more involved.
And if they don't?
It's going to be a tough night.
Go ahead and say it. You started it.
It's a sweep.
It's a sweep. You heard it here. That's going to do it for us tonight. Remember, before Game 2 on Tuesday and afterwards as well, Pistons Game Day right here on Channel 7. For the coach and the crew, I'm Jay Berry. Thanks for watching.